All right, you guys, just for the podcast that goes live on the podcast feed, we're gonna start it completely over. So read the book again.
Oh God. Okay.
All right, so everyone.
Take two.
Three,
Take two.
2, 1.
Perhaps if the High Lady Suroth was on her way to Ebudar, she would see the need too.
Perhaps you would. Good morning, everybody. Ooh, welcome back to the Nerdy, the Wordy, the Book Club. My name's Nerdy Knightley, the man with the migraines.
And I'm Clarice.
The person who made it all better. I want to start off by saying good morning to our latest Narg and also our fabulous mod, Sex Monkey.
The monkey.
The Monkster. Thank you for being a Narg for forever. You know.
You know.
But
And
Blue, thank you for gifting 5 Nargs.
Yes.
Including to mod Matrix76. Guys, we love our mods.
Let's freaking go. Thank you so much, Blue.
And, boom, crushed it.
Yeah, sorry for the unexpected week off, guys.
Should we get into that first?
Yeah, let's just get that out of the way.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry I was gone for days there. I got really sick again. This happened last year, right before the Wheel of Time premiered, so maybe book clubbers don't know about it, but I got really sick last year, and then I got sick again. And we were trying to figure out what was going on, and we were talking to our doctor, and he was basically like, yeah, I think your apartment's killing you.
Yeah.
And I think he's right. So we managed to find a place to move to, and so we live somewhere else now. This is going to be the last
book club that looks like this
in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asta, thank you so much for that super chat. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong.
I finally managed to sync up my first reread with you guys last weekend, and I plan to read the rest at your pace, but I have a tendency to binge media. I understand.
You're a little bit ahead of us.
You're a little bit ahead of us.
Just a tad.
But that just means that you get to play the I can't spoil you game that everyone else is playing.
Welcome and thank you for that super chat.
Yeah, so we are in the process of moving.
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you so much to you guys because this might be silly, but without the YouTube, we wouldn't be able to afford to move as quickly as we did. And so literally being a YouTuber has made me being healthy possible, which is not something I would have thought.
Yeah, right. That is an interesting sentence. Yeah. So I apologize if it wasn't the best communicated. I'm not even sure if we posted on YouTube. We kind of put it in Discord about last week, and it was bad. Nerdy was very sick, and we talked to the doctor on Tuesday. We decided to move on Thursday. We saw the place on Saturday, and we got the keys this past Tuesday. And so it has been kind of an insane week. We are still trying to get all of the things taken care of and everything, so be patient with us. But
their name is pronounced Austa.
Austa.
Very
okay,
cool.
Thank you. I was like, I'm so sorry.
So yeah, if you look behind, the couch is gone. Is that the new place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. We are also having to replace a bunch of the furniture because the reason that Nerdy was ill is because of the secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
In the apartment. I'm sorry. I realized we didn't say that.
I am very sensitive to smoke, and so as it's getting colder in Canada, people aren't smoking outside anymore. They're smoking in their apartments. It's getting into our unit. You can literally see these yellow lines on the walls. It's disgusting. And so yeah, that's the reality of the situation. We moved. We're in a much nicer place.
Yep.
So we're very excited to show it to you.
We're very happy. Yes, we'll show you guys around.
Our sound issues for book club are done.
I hope so. Yeah.
Hopefully our internet is better. We will see.
Yeah, we shall see. Yeah, but yeah.
Wait, we need to talk about the Path of Daggers because guys, it's the first episode of book 8.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it is.
What?
Guys, look at how pretty it is. Let's go.
The purple's really nice.
Yeah, it's my second favorite, only to the blue, I think. Shadow Rising.
I like the red as well. That like deep red was nice.
That's also very nice.
These books are they're pretty beautiful.
They're gorgeous. Thank you guys for being here for book club.
Matrix says, is all the furniture smoke saturated? Yes.
A lot.
We're buying new furniture.
Yeah. So.
And Clarice bought me my Christmas present yesterday.
I did. I bought Nerdy his Christmas present.
I'm so excited. It's gonna get here in a month. It's gonna be the best chair ever.
Yeah.
Clarus bought me a lazy boy. Recliner, because I'm an old man.
I was like, do we tell them or?
Sean, thank you for the housewarming present.
Thank you so much.
Should we host a digital housewarming party?
We just like stream on our phone and show everybody around.
Yeah, we do like 20 minutes in each room.
Sure. Why not?
All right.
Oh my God.
Should we talk about the Wheel of Time? We're like 4 minutes into this. We're 5 minutes into this podcast. What?
I mean, we had to like.
That's not like us at all. There's no other housekeeping, y'all. Oh, actually there is. Wait. Yeah.
Oh, there is.
There's a sponsor, but it's not in the room.
Wow, you did it. Okay. Guys, apparently we take 1 week off and we're absolute fucking plebs. Yeah, Nerdy has wanted a lazy boy ever since I've known him. And I was like, all right, okay, new place. We have the space for it. I will get you one for Christmas. And so he went out and he picked his lazy boy yesterday. And it's very beautiful. But we have a sponsor for today.
Boom! That's right. This, here, let's set it right. This podcast is brought to you by MoviePalette.com. MoviePalette.com. I need to close the door. The sound is awful.
The sound is echoing, I know.
MoviePalette.com is a website that allows you to buy art, but it's your favorite movie. Look at this thing. This is, Clarus, this is...
The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
This is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. Mm-hmm. Brought into art. They take each scene from the movie, and then they average out the color of that scene, and then they make all these stripes. And so this is the entirety of my favorite Lord of the Rings movie.
Gets pretty dark around here.
Yeah. Yeah, but then on the 5th day you get this white light here.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. Do you think this is the extended edition or the theatrical cut? Because if it is the theatrical cut, we have to burn it.
Wow. We're just gonna pretend it's the extended edition then.
No, I'm so kidding. No, these MoviePalette.com creates these incredible art pieces, and if you go over to MoviePalette.com right now, you can to get 15% off by using the coupon code Nerdy15. Go to MoviePalette.com, use coupon code Nerdy15 for 15% off your wall art. And I think that for October, like everything on the site's 50% off. Our 15% is after that. So not only is it the entire site is on sale today and tomorrow, I think, you get 15% off on top of their 50% sale.
Let's go.
So thank you to MoviePalette.com for sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Boom.
We love it. I'm excited to find a place in our new apartment.
Yes.
To hang that.
Yes. All right. Path of Daggers. How are you feeling about it so far? It's been 2 weeks since we did a book club. It's been 3 weeks since we've talked about new chapters.
That's true.
How are you liking Path of the Daggers to start here?
Okay, first off, I'm going to say I think that this section could have been about half the number of pages. But it's also Robert Jordan, and so am I surprised? No.
We are officially in the slog.
No, I don't
Where we take 6 chapters to go through a gateway.
Honestly, the part that was just the most tedious to me was going through each individual person that I'm like, I don't give a shit about you, and I don't give a shit about you, and you're not coming back, and I don't care. Like, and like, Robert Jordan really loves to describe people and their clothes, especially women, and like, that's like fine. But it was just, especially in this section, I just really noticed that it was a lot.
I don't have the capacity to remember all these people.
No, me neither.
I really don't. And so this section was riding the struggle bus. Yeah. I was like, Robert Jordan, Sir, please. Simon Toulouse, thank you for joining the Nards.
Simon,
I was like, Sir, stop just saying names and factions. And I'm not going to lie. My dyslexic ass, trying to get through Renail and Rianne in these 6 chapters.
Same. I'm not even dyslexic.
I started to feel like I was being punched in the face.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out who the hell... Because they're not in the same faction. At least if they were in the same faction, I would just bundle them together. But because they are quite literally at like the opposite sides of the power structure of these chapters, I was like, for fuck's sake, Robert... Renail and Rianne is so mean.
I know.
It's mean.
There are a lot of, like, rudely similar names. Like, Teslin and Tylan. Like,
I know.
At that part, I literally thought that they were talking to the queen, and then I was like, oh, Red Ajit, never mind. Like, keeping all of them straight is something.
Yeah, but, the hilarity of the first 2 chapters, literally just being them walking through a portal, I was like, wow, this is this is really slow. This is going at a snail's pace.
But on the other hand, some really cool shit happened in this section.
Amazing character development.
And character development. Yeah. And so, like, I'm kind of like, I wasn't like, wow, but I was like, okay.
I was about a couple of things. I really loved, we'll get into it, but I really love Elaine in this section.
Yes.
I thought Elaine really shined. I love Elise. We're going to meet her. It's going to be fun.
And I love Aviendha.
Yes.
Aviendha is the best.
Aviendha, as the title says, is everything. Threk, thank you for being a Narg for 10 months.
Threk, thank you so much and welcome on in.
Let's get into
a prologue.
A little bit of a prologue.
Not the chunkiest prologue.
I was worried. When I read prologue, Robert Jordan has me worried about prologues. They scare me now.
Uh-huh.
I have PTSD, prologue terror syndrome disorder.
Mm-hmm. That's an official term.
It's an official, yeah.
That is a medical term.
You can find that in the book that has the medical terms in it.
The book of medical terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called the Medictionary.
The Jesus Christ, I hate this. No, it's called Dictionary MD.
Dictionary MD. If you go on WebMD and you search what did the Wheel of Time do to you, it will say that it gave you prologue terror syndrome disorder.
Wow. All right.
Common side effects include starting a podcast on the internet to talk about the Wheel of Time with your friends. All right, Atheniel. We meet Atheniel.
New characters.
New
Yay.
characters.
And some characters that we've heard about at least. Yeah, I knew that this wasn't going to matter in the rest of this section, but it was still cool.
This will come back in 3 books.
In 3 books.
Yeah, it's going to take them 6 years to ride south, and then it'll come back.
I was going to say it was going to come back next book, but okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Atheniel is one of the lords and ladies of the ring, the Borderlands.
Yes.
It's the word I could not pull out of my tongue. And she's going to a secret meeting with all the other lords and ladies of the Borderlands. And I was like, oh, they're going to go ride to be with Rand. That's dope.
Nope, they want to kill him.
Yeah.
They're,
even Agomar, who I was like, Agomar, stand up for your boy.
I know, they want to fuck up Rand. And I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. I don't know what they know. Here's the thing. With the prophecies of the dragon and this, coming of the savior and all these, different things, every community, every class, every region, every country seems to have their own, version of this very similar prophecy. And I don't really, maybe they went over it in in book 1, but in terms of what the Borderlands believe about the Dragon Reborn, I'm actually not 100% solid on.
I think they just have the normal Randland Dragon Reborn prophecies.
I think so.
Oh. They don't seem to have their own They have a distinct culture in that they have a culture of fighting the Shadowlands, but they don't seem to have a distinct culture in the sense of
But if that were the case, they know they should know that Rand needs to be there at Tarmangaden, and so that was a weird disconnect for me because I was like, what do these people know or think that they know that they're trying to get rid of Rand?
Yeah, I think it gets complicated because they could be under any impression, and there would be no way to know what the impression that they're under is.
Yeah.
Until we get more POV of them. We haven't seen Agomar in 7 books. We haven't seen any of these other characters before.
Yeah.
And so while the Shinarans are on Rand's side, assumedly, once the queen of the Shinar runs into Davram and he's like, yeah, we're with this guy, I think she's gonna turn. I think that's going to be how the Borderlands turn, is that she's going to run into Davram. Davram's going to be like, yeah, no. This is the Dragon Reborn. I just think they don't believe that he's the actual Dragon Reborn.
Well, no, because Atheniel, in her perspective, says, and if he is the Dragon Reborn, which, would be worse, almost worse in her opinion.
I think that it's skewed our perspective over the books because we started off in this place where we believed that the Dragon Reborn was basically the Antichrist. And, the we've spent so much time with people who no longer believe that.
Yeah.
Right? And so our perspective on how people respond to the Dragon Reborn has changed throughout the books. But if we go back to the first book, a lot of people were just as scared of running into the Dragon Reborn as they were of running into the Shadow Swan, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so I think that this is bringing, because we're going back to some other characters within Randland who we've been neglecting, they still have that book one perspective. They have not been changed by the actions of Rand throughout the books the way that the Aiel or the way the Kyrians or the Camelinians?
Yeah.
Camelonites. Camelonians. I like Camelonians, like
Camelonians.
Babylonians. The Camelonians and the Kyrians have been changed by their interactions with Rand. And I feel like we're starting to get back to some of those like more fringe societies that haven't interacted with him yet and have only heard stories of him. And those stories are awful, right? Bringing Aiel into the Stone of Tyr, ransacking Kyrian. There will soon be stories of him dropping lightning on Ilion, right? Like, he has had to conquest so violently. And the way that those stories are going to be told around the...
Andorans, right. Camelin is the city. Andor is the province?
I know, but you would, like, we're still Torontonians, even though we're not, like, we're Canadians, but we're also Torontonians.
I really hate that.
What else would you call it? Like, Torontians?
No, I wouldn't call it anything. I hate it.
Cameliners.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that there's an interesting kind of story being told here of like what the countries that have moved forward in their opinions of Rand where we're more comfortable, and these countries where that hasn't happened and we're not quite as comfortable.
Yeah. They also have 13 Aes Sedai.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
It's not good.
Yeah.
They pose like an actual potential threat, and I think that
they do not.
Well, in terms of at least like a hindrance.
Oh yeah, no. If they catch Rand alone, yes.
Yeah.
But Rand has 200 Ashaman who can teleport around the country at will. Like I think Rand's gonna be okay.
No, I think Rand's gonna be okay. He's our protagonist, and he needs to be there at the end. But I'm just saying, them having 13 Aes Sedai makes them a whole lot scarier.
Torontites? I hate Torontites.
Torontons.
I like Clod Complex's tarantulas.
No.
We're all tarantulas.
I hate that.
That's great.
I hate it. Oh, God.
Yeah, the 13 Aes Sedai thing is funny to me.
Because I don't think they realize what that means, but we do.
But the Aes Sedai must, right?
If the Aes Sedai are aware of the two groups. Because there's one of 7 and...
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
There's two groups. I can't remember.
Lightning Lance brings up... this is my favorite Lightning Lance. People from Liverpool are called Liverpudlians. Yeah.
Great.
I found that out. I did a musical set in Liverpool when I was 17. It was so fun. It was such a good time. This was not my accent, I promise.
God, I hope not.
So basically they get together.
Yeah.
And
they're like, let's fuck shit up. We finally get to meet Bashir's queen, like the
Tenobia.
queen. Yeah, Tenobia, Queen of Saldea.
Saldea, sorry, I said China earlier. The Saldeans are mostly on Rand's side. Yes. But she's pissed at Davram.
She's upset with him. And I maybe this was mentioned before, but I didn't realize that Fail was third in line for the throne. Because she's got the throne, and she says, if she leaves it, then Davram gets the throne.
Because does she not have kids?
I'm guessing, because I don't think she's married, right? And so Davram would get the throne, and then if something happened to Davram, then Fail would get it. So she's, I guess, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I did not realize how close to actual royalty Perrin is.
Perrin does not want to be the king of Saldea.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
There's a part of me now that you've said that, I'm like, Perrin's definitely going to end up being the king of Saldea.
Yeah.
They're going to migrate the entirety of the two rivers into Saldea to be near their Lord Perrin.
And that's the problem, is that I think because of, like, Perrin's, like, wolf brotherness, that he'll end up in a more, like, I want to say, like, less, like, civilized, but I don't think civilized is the right word. Like, a less, like, industrialized is the wrong word as well. Like, a smaller town, okay? Yeah, as opposed to, like, ruling an entire...
Country?
Sorry, I was like, city, country, state.
Yeah, I think the one that was most surprising to me in this section was Agomar. Because I'm surprised that he's going along with this as much as he is. He seemed very pro Dragon Reborn in the beginning of book 2.
I think that also my remembrance of Agelmar is like hindered by the show. Because I'm not gonna lie, I can't really remember much about him from the book.
That's fair. That is fair.
So like I like legitimately like I don't remember.
I also the other thing about this that I find interesting is I don't really understand their motivation to leave the Blight.
Yeah, I feel like the Blight is very important, and they're like, it's like sleepy right now, so we're gonna go fight the Dragon Reborn.
The Borderlands, I'm excited for more storytelling with them so that I can have a better understanding of why the Borderlanders feel like this is their war to go fight. Because that's what I don't really understand right now. Like, the Dragon Reborn doesn't seem to be having much effect on their place. And so the idea that they're going to go try and find him, but they don't know where he is.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to spend so much time on the road, and Rand can just teleport a month and a half ride away.
Yeah, we have no idea what their plan is. And I'm excited to find out, but right now I'm like, you guys have got a task.
This was a nice little tease at the beginning of the book, but ultimately I was like, cool.
I don't think we're going to see this whatever storyline until the payoff of it. Until they show up somewhere and...
At the wrong time?
Yeah. 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 And then we're going to find out, like, how they got there. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's get into the next point of view here, because we learned a true tragedy, y'all. For those of you who have been following the book club for a while, you know, I like Varen a lot. I think she's great. Varen's a dark friend, though, and it's all awful. So, I don't know,
Yeah, we've been sus of Varen for a while, and this just makes her so much more sus, and I can't decide if that's because she's actually sus, or if because Robert Jordan wants us to think that she's sus, but she's not actually sus.
What? Varen is straight up a Black Aja. Confirmed. 100%.
I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. Varen is 100%.
No, it seems
she is
too obvious.
Literally...
Like, he's making her too sus.
Because she's literally torturing and, like...
She's not torturing
using
anyone,
compulsion
she's
on these...
compelling people.
That's torture. For taking someone's ability to do shit away from them is torture. Varen is using an ability that lets her control people in the future without them knowing. She is 1,000% a Black Aja. Are you kidding me? What is possibly defensible about what she's doing here? It's an insanely cool ability. I like that she's like...
I don't say she's a good person, but I don't know if she's Black Aja.
100% Black Aja.
Like, she might be working towards her own means.
What means?
I don't know yet.
What, you think she's like with Padden Fane?
No.
Yeah,
No.
she's Black Aja. I'm telling you right now, 100%. I will lock this in so hard.
All right.
She's literally using an illegal compulsion technique.
Well, she doesn't. It's not illegal because no one knows how to do it except for her.
No, it is illegal. Compulsion is illegal in the White Tower. It said in the prologue that what she's doing is like very illegal.
Oh, I thought she like kind of like figured it out and like it's not a thing.
Yeah, but it's against the White Tower.
And yet being a warder isn't.
Look, I'm not.
I die.
But here's the thing: I have as much a problem with that.
The ward, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's just funny that what the White Tower sees as what is okay and what's not, right?
Marco says any theories why she's making them swear to Rand? Chaos. She wants more chaos for Moradin. I think Varen and Moradin are sleeping together. They have a beautiful relationship. And they're just Varen and Moradin. That's the power couple of Randland at the moment.
Yeah.
She's Black Aja. She's 100%. Like, come on. She's using some weird dark compulsion techniques to take away people's will. That is Black Aja to a fucking T.
Here's the thing. I think that it's too obvious, because I agree. I read that, and I'm like, oh, Robert Jordan wants us to think she's Black Aja. And then I'm like, Robert Jordan, I see you. She's not actually going to be Black Aja. It's going to be like a...
I think you're trying to big brain a situation that is very small brain.
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna put my mark on this prediction. Varen is not Black Aja.
I think I'm finally right and you're wrong for once.
You've been right before.
Yeah, but not about stuff that you've argued with me on. This is the first time where we've taken very opposite points of
Where
view.
you're like, I am 100%
and
sure.
I'm 100% right, and you're 100% wrong.
All right, well, we're betting
Varian
on
is
it.
evil.
We're betting on it. Bet on it,
But yeah,
on
she's
it.
basically spending time with the Aes Sedai who have been captured one at a time in order to do this weird compulsion stuff to them. And she's also like watching them do pointless labor because the Aiel, they're not great.
They're not great.
It's not a society of like kind people.
No. I also want to say, sorry, Father Jerusalem, for that wasted coffee. But it was worth it. Yeah, no, the Aiel are horrible. And here's the thing. Yes, the like Eleda's escort, did terrible things to Rand. But we also find out that like a lot of them were just like there and had no choice in the matter and thought that it was awful. And that's really tough because if you are one out of however many Aes Sedai were there, you can't be the one to be like, hey, maybe not, because you will get iced. Like, you.
I would argue. I would argue that you're making a very dangerous argument.
No, I'm just saying they were put in a shitty situation and they made the wrong choice. They didn't, like, a lot of them did not make the active decision to do something terrible, but, they could have left or they could have said something, and they didn't, and they're being punished for that. And whether or not they're being punished too harshly for that, that's, I think, up to,
I think the argument...
The Aiel are very, very harsh.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I think that there is no situation in which you can downplay personal responsibility for the actions that you allow to take place in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They made the wrong choice, right? Like they didn't do anything about it.
100%. But I think that where that argument gets dangerous is where you say like, well, they were put in a position where it got I'm
just saying that instead of being evil, they're cowards, right? And like they allowed this evil thing to happen, and they're still responsible. They still have responsibility for that.
I don't think that we can say that without their point of view. I think that you're making an assumption that
that's what they said.
Yeah, but under duress, yes.
Right. They may not be being truthful.
I think that well, actually they also can't lie. So I guess maybe in this case duress doesn't really matter. But I think that you have to be careful with the argument of like, oh, well, like they were just following orders. I think that like they were just following orders argument is very weak in my opinion, and I think that doesn't forgive the actions of someone who is involved.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the Aiel are like the Aiel give zero fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Aiel are rough. I love them. They're very fun because they're fictional. But if the Aiel were real, I would be like, guys, this isn't cool.
Yeah.
They're like, and they fall into what I think about a lot of like written peoples is that I'm like, oh, this is really fun to read. If you were a real society, you would not function.
You don't think so?
No, God, no.
I feel like very rigid societies, I mean, I guess have in the past, but...
Oh, sure, but like the way that the Aiel are towards like other civilizations, like you would be just at war all the time.
Well,
like
that's why they kept to themselves, right? They didn't see other people didn't see them, and so I think that distance of them being in the threefold land is what made them able to survive. Because you're right, they would just be butting heads all the time, and they did.
I just don't know where the like... I am waiting for the Aiel culture to have more warmth in it. I was hoping that once we settled them in the wetlands, we would get to see more of them, more of the like softer sides of their culture, because they're sort of being portrayed as always hard and always aggressive, and there's no warring tribe in history that's like that, right? There's very Western anglicized views of warring cultures that views them that way, but that's never the truth of the situation. And I think that ever since the Aiel have, and maybe it's because they're in the wetlands, they don't get to show that side of them as much. But I would like to see some more from the Aiel other than Aviendha. And I think that they're giving Aviendha so much of the burden in these books of having her be the point of view character for the softer sides of the Aiel that we're not getting to see from literally anybody else.
Yeah, because even Gul, Bane, and Shieta are like very aside characters, right? But Monkey makes a good point that the Aiel are not a very old civilization, right?
I mean, they're older than our civilization.
What? No.
Yeah, they're thousands of years old.
No, they're not. The world broke, what, 2,000 years ago? 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And the Aiel went from being, like, the Aiel from the breaking to the Aiel that they are now. Like, that's not very long for all of those, like, changes to come together, right? Because the Aiel were gone for a while, whoever knows how long. But them actually coming back and forming an actual civilization again, like, it hasn't been thousands of years.
Sure, but that's still older than our civilization. Like, the one we live in right now is not that old, right?
Well, yeah, and I think it's
I would argue that, like, modern civilization really starts 300 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
I guess,
like,
yeah.
And you could even make the argument that, like, the civilization we're living under right now only goes back to the Industrial Revolution, right?
Yeah.
You could argue that our entire civilization has changed so much because of the Industrial Revolution that was a demarcation line between two very different societies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But to say that, like, the Aiel culture goes back further than from me to Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? And to say, like, that our culture is similar to Jesus's society that just is not true.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
We live in a wildly different society.
Send, welcome back to the nerd table. Just wanted to. Aiel are always hard t-shirt. We can work on something.
The Aiel are always hard is very funny. Yeah, I don't know. I find the Aiel to be I find them. I'm waiting to find more about them. That's less. Every time we get more about the Aiel, it is more about, like, how different they are, and I would like to see more humanity in them, I think.
Yeah, you're
and I'm
right.
waiting for that. I'm just waiting for that sometimes. I want to see the, like, version of the Aiel.
We only get Aviendha.
Yeah.
In that. Yeah.
And we get, like, Sorlia and Amis being like, like, sometimes the wise women, or no, the wise ones, the wise women, wise ones thing, Robert Jordan, you dick.
How dare you?
The interesting thing I find about the wise ones is they sometimes come across like adults in Charlie Brown.
What?
Like, they're like, sometimes when they're talking, I'm like, wah, 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 wah.
See, that's how I feel about the Aes Sedai.
The Aes Sedai are the same. Oh, no, 1,000%.
Here's the thing,
the wise ones and the Aes Sedai are the same thing, and they just don't want to agree
No, the
about
wise
that.
ones are different to me because of the scene with Egwene before she leaves to become the Amerlin Seed. That was like a huge pivotal point for me in my perspective of the wise ones. And so that, to me, they are not the same anymore. I think that they were for a while. They were very similar in that, like, I know better because I do. And you're like, okay, fine.
I think that the reason why I'm feeling this about the about the Aiel, honestly, is because Robert Jordan takes so much time to describe cultures and how they function. Like, I have such a ridiculous amount of knowledge about how Kyrian culture works. Not just the political war side, but, like, the underbelly of Korean culture.
Yeah.
Like, when we got to Ebu Dar, I feel like we've spent so much time with these long descriptions about how, like, the Festival of the Birds and, like, these cultural things that fill out Ebu Dar.
Yeah.
Even though I think Ebu Dar is an insane place where people are getting stabbed all the time.
Yeah, I would hate to live there.
And so in the way that Robert Jordan world builds, I feel like the Aes Sedai have not been given as much three-dimensional storytelling around their culture as so many of the other cultures that we've been introduced to have in these books. And I think that that's why it stands out to me. I don't think it would stand out to me as much if the Kyrian and Camelin and Ebu Dar and Tenchiko, if those cultures hadn't been written about so fleshed out.
Yeah, the Aiel is, like, reading about the Aiel, I feel like is made deliberately.
Is that window open?
Confusing? I don't know. Nope, it's just loud.
Oh my god. Sorry about, if you guys can hear the
leaf blower, maybe? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying, babe?
That I think that the Aiel are written to be deliberately, like, mysterious and cryptic.
I was fine with that for the first few books that they're in.
I know, I want to know. Like,
but we're at
the point where, tell me, please.
Well, and we're at a point where so many of our main characters are Aiel, so to keep them mysterious to me is... Yeah.
In terms of main characters?
Ami, Soralia, Ruark, Gaul, Bane, Chiad.
I would not say Gaul, Bane, or
Aviendha.
Chiad are main characters at all.
They've been in 6 books.
Yeah, but we've never...
We know so much about their relationship. They're in every parent POV chapter. Like they are main characters of the series.
But we don't have any POVs except for Aviendha.
Oh no, I'm not saying like leads. But I'm saying like they are prominent main characters.
Yeah.
And we have so many characters at this point who are from the IEL that are very important to the story that we spend so much time with that we only see one aspect of them.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see more for sure.
Because of the way Robert Jordan writes everybody else, I'm like, give a little bit of that time to the IEL because I want more from them because they do feel so important.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite parts of the series so far has been in the Waste. And learning about that, and Aviendha trying to teach Rand in a weird roundabout way, and she's like, I don't understand why you don't get this. Like, I want more of that, but in a way that's like a little more straightforward, where like our characters actually are getting it. Because right now, like I feel like Elaine is like, I don't really understand Aviendha, but we're friends.
But I also don't feel like I really understand Aviendha, and I think that's the thing that.
I don't know.
We need to move on. We are...
Yeah.
We're getting too far. People are arguing with my definition of main and supporting. Guys, at this point, the Aiel are main... The Aiel I mentioned are main characters to me in the way that I think that Snape is a main character in Harry Potter. Does that make sense?
Right. They're very important.
He's not... It's not from his perspective, but like... Over the course of 7 books, you get to be a main character if you're in 7. Like, if you're in all 7.
Yeah.
You're not the protagonist.
Same with, like, Dumbledore.
Yeah.
He's the main character.
Well, I would argue he's more important to the plots of those than...
Sure,
Snape,
but I'm just saying, like, we don't get his perspective,
Yeah, but, like, supporting characters come and go. But, like, Ruark doesn't come and go. Ruark has been with with us for so long, and he doesn't go anywhere. He's just there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whatever. It doesn't matter. My point stands. They're
very important.
It's book 8.
Turvok, welcome to the Nerd Table. Thank you for 9 months.
All right, let's move on because we get the one part of the prologue we're still in the prologue.
Yep.
36 minutes in. It's a nerdy nightly podcast, y'all.
I am not surprised.
Go. We get the part of this that I thought was the worst part of the prologue.
Yeah, where we learned to play a game.
We chill with Moradin, and he is playing chess. And he's like, my fisher and your rook, and knight to g4.
Oh, was it supposed to be chess?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie.
It's very complicated, and nobody except him remembers it because he's a very special boy. What?
He is a very special boy.
Moradin is that special boy where you're like, yes, you are unique.
We do get confirmation, though. This is important. This is a big one. We get confirmation that Moradin is not a new character. He is from the Age of Legends.
Yes, from the Age of Legends.
Which was new.
He's insane.
Oh, yeah, he's crazy.
He's absolutely bonkers. So, yeah. That was it. That's it.
Reading this section to me was like someone trying to explain chess to you without a board.
Yeah, I was like, I
know that this isn't literally chess, you guys. I'm not saying that it's literally chess. I'm just saying that like reading it was like me trying to explain chess to someone verbally.
Yeah.
And I was reading it and I was like,
I know. I am a person where I need to see and do. I was like, I can't. None of this is gonna stick.
Yeah.
Throwing it at all, it's not gonna stick, unfortunately.
Hasty Alder Haman says, Nerdy, how much do you know about the legend of the Fisher King? None. If that's like a fairy tale that you need to know to understand the prologue of this book, but it's not in these books, that's mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was. People are like, I really like the part. I get it. It's well written. I was just like reading it. I was like,
it's like we're learning to play a game.
Well, and it gets into a trope of writing that I find sometimes. That it's just not my favorite thing when writers will be like, see, I'm using a board game as an analogy for the way that this character is going to war.
Yes.
And I'm like, that only works if I understand the board game.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm just sitting here reading it going, what, sure?
Yeah.
If you say so.
Oh, and immediately I knew that that's what was going on. I was like, we're talking about a board game? Oh, I'm assuming that the big stone is Rand. You know what I mean? Like, no one's surprised.
Yeah, 100%.
It was fine. It was just like, for me, didn't add anything personally.
Yeah. I was like, cool, Morden's crazy, and he plays a game.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. He comes back, though, at least, so that's not all that we get of him, because otherwise it'd be like, gay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but he does say that Randall Thor is already doing what he wants.
Yep.
And then he laughs until he cries, because he's crazy.
He's losing it.
The Path of Daggers, Chapter 1.
We made it.
The bargain. So, we catch up in a hallway. Aviendha, Nynaeve, and Elaine are chilling, and they're like, we should go. And the warder's like, yeah, we should go now. And they're like, no, we need to remind the audience of the way that we described everyone in previous books. And so Robert Jordan spends many pages going... Aviendha was standing there in silks up to her neck, and she had her belt knife on, and her belt knife was on her left shoulder, but then she was upset, so she fingered it, and then she put her belt knife on her right shoulder, and then Aviendha was blushing because Nynaeve was blushing, and then Elaine was blushing, and everybody's blushing, and all the women are standing around blushing, and then Nynaeve gets upset with Aviendha for blushing because she's blushing, and so then they leave. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
No, you missed a very important part. You missed a very important part. Aviendha is very upset that she is enjoying talking about lace.
Oh, I was gonna get to that. That's after they're walking. That's after they leave this.
That is after they're walking. But yeah, Aviendha's like, oh no, I've become a wetlander. I like talking about clothes.
Well, she fingers her belt knife so much, I'm not surprised she's gone soft.
That's a t-shirt. Fingers her belt knife.
Yeah, the way that he used fingers, I know that fingering probably wasn't as prominent a thing in the 90s because men didn't know how to pleasure women, but
foreplay wasn't a thing.
Foreplay wasn't a thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
But the opening of this chapter was just so like, I was like, because here's what was so weird for me is we get to the end of last book, and like Matt is under a wall.
Yep.
And the girls are like, we have to flee the Sanchin.
Yeah.
And then the opening of this book is like, oh, but look at my clothing, and we're in this hallway.
I know, I was like, I don't give a shit what you're wearing.
And I almost wish, I love that this perspective was from Aviendha, because I love her perspective, and she's so funny.
Oh, it was the best choice.
But I wish that this perspective was Lan or Brigitte, because they're both standing in this hallway being like, can you, guys, shut the fuck up. We have to go. What are you doing?
I know.
And you can just picture the two of them standing on the wall looking at each other like, they're fucking children.
Like, yeah.
Why are we following these fucking children?
Yeah.
They're blushing about random shit right now, and we have to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also one of those things where it feels different waiting 2 years for the book than as opposed to jumping right into it. And I do want to acknowledge that. I think that is very important, right? But for us, having 1 week off, we're like, yeah, we get it. We just left off there. Well, let's get into it. And we definitely got a lot of retelling in this section.
Which we always do at the beginning of the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just more prominent in this one because of where we left off last time with Matt.
Because it felt like we left off in the middle of an action beat.
Yeah.
And so I think that you nailed it. Doing this kind of retelling when we're in the middle of the action of Abu Dar feels more strange than typical where they're like, oh, like Rand is lounging around the castle talking about what everybody's wearing.
Rand won Dumais Wells, right? Like
100%.
Yeah.
And then he gets back to Kyrian and, they have a 2-week ride at the beginning of the last book after Dumais Wells. Yeah. Whereas in this one, we jump into this huge action set piece where the Sanchin are literally attacking Abu Dar. And the conversation that we jump into is just so...
And we don't even get that until the end. Yeah.
Teslan shows up. It's Teslan showing up. We'll get to it. It is the most important part of this chapter, in my opinion. Yeah. Other than the very end of this chapter, obviously. But there's definitely a point where you're like, you're fleeing.
Yeah.
Like, you're running for your lives right now.
It did feel very slow for the fact that they were, like, running away from a golem who could wipe them out all easily, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have nothing... Yeah, they have nothing of use against the golem except for Matt's necklace, and Matt is dead. Can we get some F's in chat for Matt?
Yeah, F's in chat for Matt. Who's Matt? Who's Perrin?
And make sure you like the video, because Matt is dead.
But, so Teslan shows up, not Tylan.
I know, I got confused. I was like, the Queen's here, and then I was like, nope.
Yeah, no, Teslan shows up and is like, yo, I'm gonna get you one day, but for now, I'm not...
Gonna get you.
I'm not mad. I'm not gonna tell anyone what you're doing, and whatever you're up to... Don't get caught. And I was like, what in the McGonagall is this bullshit?
Yeah, that was very cryptic. I have no ideas.
Right?
I read this and I was like, huh?
I appreciated later on when we have Nynaeve be like, I think that Teslin might be willing to turn against Aleida.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Well, because her and the other not Black Aja, and her and the other, like, Aleida Aja that are there, both were like, we're just not going to do a thing. We're not going to bother her. We're not going to get ourselves involved. We're just going to take a step back. But she was still very, like, outwardly condemning of what they were doing and said that they were going to pay for it. So it just was, like, very, like, so many mixed signals. So I'm just going to... I'm just gonna wait and see what happens on that one because I have no clue.
No, I 100%. I found this conversation fascinating. Marco says Teslin was the Aes Sedai Aleida banished in book 4. No, I know that. I just Teslin came in. I just was like, why did Teslin think that this conversation needed to happen?
Yeah.
This was like, this conversation could have been an email. But also, like, could have not happened.
Well, honestly, the nice moment, actually, in this scene was Nynaeve being like, hey, I'm going to give you a warning.
Oh, 100%.
Obviously, Teslin is like, yeah, fucking right. Which, her prerogative. You know, she has no reason to trust Nynaeve, I guess. But I think having that moment for Nynaeve was nice. Because Nynaeve actually had some heart.
I wish that... Because Nynaeve is like, so this is why we're in a hurry. Everything's about to be awful. I wish Teslin's response would be... Then why are you guys sending her out this hallway bickering right now?
Yeah.
Nynaeve was like reminding herself, oh yeah, actually, no, we're in a really dire situation at the moment.
Yep.
No, I didn't hate the moment with Teslin. She like shows up to, it's like when someone like shows up to be like, I'm important, and you're like,
yep, I remember you.
Great.
Honestly, I think that's what it was. I think it's Robert Jordan being like, hey, remember this character? They're going to come back later.
She's going to be in this book.
Yes.
I don't think she is.
You don't.
I think the next time we see Teslin,
she's got a college.
She's going to be a domain.
Yep, that would suck.
God, guys, we're going to have to talk so much about domains in this series, and I don't want to.
I know.
It's an uncomfy topic.
I know. It makes my skin crawl.
Right? It's a little gross.
Yeah. But yeah, they move on, finally. They go to the courtyard.
But they they realize that they've been foolish, and so they walk slowly so that they don't so that the warders don't think like, that they've been hurried.
I know. I can't with that kind of fucking petty bullshit. I'm like, you guys.
No, they don't walk slowly. They walk a little bit faster, but they talk about pointless things.
Yeah. Their feet move faster, but they don't want people to notice their feet are moving faster.
Which leads to one of the best Aviendha moments of all time, in my opinion, is her being like, God damn it, I'm enjoying this. Oh no.
Yeah.
I like silk.
Yeah.
I love her so much. She's so upset with herself for just like the most innocuous, like, I enjoy comfy clothes.
Well, and here's the thing, like, this read to me as more she's enjoying talking about these things in the company of her friends, not like I care desperately about what kind of silks. Like I feel like she's just like it's what her friends talk about, and she loves them and she enjoys their company, and so she's just like enjoying having time spent. But when you live in a place like the Waste, like the luxury for having time to like enjoy with people, I feel like is much lessened when you're looking for any drop of water that you can find, right? Like the Aiel don't have fun. Like
I just disagree with that.
Okay, I don't know.
I think that in their culture they do, right? I think that they've just their idea of fun's different.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the Aiel are a culture of just like constant war, right?
Yeah.
Like they have their holds where they have water and they have culture, right? They have like wine and they lie on their pillows and they have their threesomes and like there is fun in the Aiel culture. There has to be. Otherwise, what would be the purpose of living, right? And so like I think that I just want to not to go back into what we were talking about earlier, but I just want to know what their joy is. I want to understand Aiel joy a little bit better.
Yeah, I think their joy is literally like threatening men with spears to kiss them.
Yeah, and I don't want their joy to be the same as my joy, right? I just want to know what their joy is. Yeah. So yeah, they get down to the courtyard, and this is where all the women suck for like 10 minutes because I'm like, oh my God, you guys are miserable.
I know.
They argue and they nearly fight. Nynaeve has to be all like, everybody shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stare at my husband's jawline, okay? So quiet down.
Please, some peace and quiet. I love that, like, Elaine is like, I'm not made for yelling, but Nynaeve is made for yelling.
Yeah. And Nynaeve would be like, I don't yell. And Aviendha would make fun of her for not understanding the irony of her statement.
Yeah. That is one of my favorite parts, is Aviendha laughing at Nynaeve. Mm-hmm. Just always. It brings me joy.
Someone needs to. Because Lan is certainly not going to.
Yeah, Lan is like, yeah, whatever you say, boss. I'm like...
I'm not big on the whole, like, whipped thing. I think it's a dumb joke. But Lan is whipped.
Kind of feels like it, yeah.
Yeah, in the best way. So am I. I get it. What? I haven't chosen where we've eaten since we got together.
That's not fair.
It is fair. It's true.
I don't want to have to choose.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yeah, because if I choose, you're not going to like it.
That's because I can't eat a lot of things.
I know. And so when we got married, I gave up my right to choose where I have dinner.
That's not...
I sort of ceded.
I ask your opinion frequently.
I know. And then I say, I'm like, I'm down for this. You're like, no.
That's not true. I'm like, hey, like, Ito was nearby last night. You're like, yeah. And we're like, great.
Oh, no. I will say, if it appears like you are close to making a decision, I will say yes to any location at that point.
Wow.
To get you over the hill.
Okay.
I'm not a picky person, which makes it possible, but you have dietary restrictions, and so we eat based on how you can eat. And I have decided as a married man that, like, that's my life now. I'm not complaining. This is not me saying this is a negative. I'm just saying this is a reality of my life. And Lan would do the same for Nynaeve. I'm saying that that Lan and I are similar people. We're not.
Yeah, you're not like a stone in human form, which I think is how somebody describes him. But
no, I'm a soft teddy bear of a man.
Yeah, you're very good at cuddles. I don't know if Lan is good at cuddles.
No, you're like laying on him. You're like, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, ow.
I've cuddled men like that who are just so muscular, and you're like,
okay.
Yeah. All right. What were we talking? Are we what
we
is
were
this?
Talking about
Are we in Smut Corner already? What's happening?
Sorry, we got distracted by Lan and his muscles.
I always get distracted by Lan and his muscles.
Same. That's fine.
So we look around the room, the stables, and we have a few different groups. We got Renail and like 19 other Wayfinders, who all have a variety of different numbers of gold pieces in their face.
Yeah.
We look around, we see the Ice Die, and the rest, who are like, yo, what's up? We're really upset about what's going on over with the kinswomen. And so we rotate. It's like in that 70s show when they're in the basement getting high and the camera rotates to the groups. That is what is happening in the description of this. Do you not know what that is a reference to?
I've never seen that 70s show. Are you surprised?
I know, but you're not even...
What?
That shot is just famous. Anyway, so the camera like rotates from group to group to group, and it gets over to the kinswomen, and the quick kinswomen have Ispin
as like their like charge,
or Ispan or Ispan,
Sure.
And she's got a hood on, and the kinswomen are the ones who are holding the shield, and the Aes Sedai are all like, we should be holding the shield, and Elaine is like, okay, but like, I'm in charge, and so I'm going to have the kinswomen do it, even though they don't want to do it, so that you know that I'm in charge, because...
I think it's more so... I think it's less about, you know that I, Elaine, am in charge. I think it's more about the kinswomen have a place to play here, and they are important as well, and they are deserving of responsibilities, right? Because I think I think that the Aes Sedai see the kinswomen and are like... You know, like they see them as very beneath. Mm-hmm. And the kinswomen don't help because they're like, yes, we are beneath, right? And so I think that Elaine is trying in her own way to bridge that gap somehow. Because they're not going to be useful if they're just like...
Oh, no, it's to teach them a backbone, 100%.
Yeah.
I just, I was just saying what was happening.
Yeah.
The literal.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just think it's less about like Elaine's authority and more... her
Oh,
like
100%.
trying to
Yeah.
like have the group be on similar levels. But yeah, so they've made their agreement about the Bowl of the Winds.
Which we learn about in like 3 chapters.
Well, yeah, we learn more about it, but they have this thing where like they use it, they get to take it back, and then the Aiel, or not the Aiel, the Aes Sedai are gonna go teach them things about the source and the power.
Let's get to that later.
Sure.
We'll get to the agreement, because the agreement's gonna be a problem.
Oh, it's gonna be a huge problem.
In fact, yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But let's get through the gateway, because I don't want to take as long to get through the gateway as Robert Jordan did writing this chapter.
That's fair. So so Aviendha opens the gateway.
Yes, she does. She does it poorly. Well, here's a question I have.
Yeah.
So if Aviendha is not great at opening gateways, and you have like 100 women in this courtyard who can all channel, why not just let someone who's good at opening gateways do it?
Well, because no one's ever done it before except Elaine, I think.
But then why doesn't Elaine? Why? Okay, if Aviendha is not good at opening gateways, why would you be like, all right, we're going to delegate this. There are multiple people here who couldn't do this. We're going to delegate this task to the person who is not good at it.
Because Elaine needs to lead them.
No,
right?
She doesn't.
She leads them through.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
No, the warders go first.
Well, yes.
And then the Aes Sedai go as a group. But like, I'm just saying, if you have someone who is good at opening gateways, and you have someone who is not, and you're going to transport a lot of important people and a lot of important terangrials through the gateway, why would you give that task to someone who is struggling with that skill? It's like an important time.
Is trying to like learn. Like Elaine is trying to.
I'm saying this is not the time for her. This is too important a gateway.
The problem is no one else
moment.
might be able to open a gateway.
But Elaine can. She's good at it.
Yes, but she needs to lead. She can't be stuck on the other side. Like she.
Why? Nynaeve can lead. They're like co-leaders.
You know what? You know why? You want to really know why? It's because Aviendha is the only one who can pick apart a weave.
No, it's because they need the port. This is the port key moment. In Goblet of Fire, I know I reference Harry Potter a lot. We don't support J.K. Rowling. It's just everyone like understands the cultural touchstones of Harry Potter, so it's easy to use them as analogies.
Yeah,
and that's why I go to that well a lot. They introduced the port key in book 4, and you're like, I guess that's how that works.
Yeah.
This could have been so useful earlier in the series, but we got to it now. They need to introduce the idea of picking apart a weave here so that when they create the nuclear bomb in 4 chapters, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
And I understand why this happens.
Narratively, yes.
But like that is for the reason of the audience to understand a thing that's about to happen, I need to do this thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like the characters are doing the right choice here.
Yeah.
It is a strange decision for Elaine to make in the moment in order to set up for the narrative of the book.
It might be one of those things where we saw like off screen when they agreed to what they were going to do, where Aviendha's like, I'll do the gateway or whatever, and Elaine didn't want to be like, no, you're bad at them, I'll do it. Like, cause later Aviendha's like, I failed you, like, I can't get past. She has like some kind of like block around gateways.
Brian Kinsey, thank you for that, joining the Narcs.
Brian, welcome to the nerd table. Yeah, it's definitely meant as more of a plot device. I'm just gonna assume something happened off camera that was a discussion that we were not privy to.
Yeah, 100%. I think that like the reason why they wait until they're in Saladar to work on Nynaeve's block is because that's the right time to work on Nynaeve's block. This is not the right time.
I don't know if they realize it's like a block. But I don't know. She's practicing, and so we said we weren't going to take as long as Robert Jordan does.
But we
said we weren't going to take as long as Robert Jordan
No,
does.
I'm not done here. That is like saying that the right time for someone to take their driver's ed course is in the middle of a Fast and the Furious movie.
What? No.
Yes.
No.
100%.
She's in controlled circumstances. She has several tries. She's not going to die if she doesn't open the thing correctly. That is absolutely not true. That is
Matt Turk says the fact that there was no lead up to unweaving was a poor narrative choice. It should have been seen during Aviendha's training. I agree with this. Let's get into unraveling a weave, because I did not realize that they were literally like quilts.
Really? They talked about unraveling them. It had been mentioned in previous books.
Were they?
Yeah, you can't do that. you just let it dissipate. Like
right. No, but like
unstable.
It is book 8, and this is the first time I've heard that if you look at a weave really close, you see threads individually, and one is going to be brighter. And
Wait, what do you mean? That each type of power is a thread, and you weave the threads. Like when Nynaeve is healing the stilling, it's threads that are all like literally woven together. Elena's like, I can't keep track of all the knots and the patterns. Like we have metaphors for knots and breaking them and tying, and I don't know. I feel like that was pretty clear for me.
Okay, but that is not the same thing as a weave. The problem is that a knot and a weave aren't the same thing, right? Those are separate concepts.
But they are made out of singular strands.
Right, but they're not. But like a knot and a weave are not functionally similar.
Correct.
They are made using the same materials, but they are different things. Untying a knot and unweaving a pattern aren't the same thing, right? And
How many times has unraveling the pattern been mentioned?
Oh, sure, but like this is this is just a very new concept in book 8. That if you unweave a pattern in the wrong way, what you are doing is creating a nuclear bomb.
Yes. I think that the implications of that are definitely new.
Brian Kinsey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. We have some new nargs.
This is the kind of concept, though. Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
This is the kind of concept. When I was complaining in book 2 about not spending any time learning about the one power in the White Tower.
Yeah.
This is the kind of concept that could have been brought up in a class or a lesson that the girls learn in the White Tower. And then 6 books later, it's like, oh, this is the consequence of it.
Or we see Aviendha learning it and Egwene learning it and them earlier. I 100% agree with.
I am not at all complaining about how this functionally works within the world.
Yeah.
I think this totally works. Yeah. Right? 100% it works. I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I think that this is the kind of thing that could have been started
in
so much earlier.
2 or 3.
When I was complaining about not understanding about how the one power works at all, or what a weave is, or like what these things are in book 2.
Yes.
These are the payoffs that I was complaining about not having the setups for.
Yeah, and I think that like because we actually get to learn a little bit about how the one power works in this section, that is information that I first of all, I loved it, and I am glad that we got it. But second of all, I would have loved it much earlier. Because there was one thing that we talked about. We're like, I don't really understand, like, how this works. I would love to have some kind of insight to that. And I do wish that we had got this earlier.
It's the difference between... it's the difference between... new information like this coming up and me going, sure, I guess that's how it works because you're telling me that now, versus this happening and me getting to be with the characters going, oh, wait, didn't they say that was a really bad thing?
Yeah.
Oh, no, is something bad happening? But like when Marilol goes, no, and you're like, what? Yeah. And then it takes like 2 paragraphs for you to... I had to read this like 3 times to understand, because I was like, was Marilol stabbed? Like, what happened?
Yeah, no, she saw her like pulling apart the weave, yeah.
And it was so unclear to me what was going on that I had to read it multiple times to try and piece together that Aviendha had done something bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get that something bad had happened.
Yeah.
And now I know what that is. Obviously, like chapters later, I'm like, oh yeah, Jesus Christ, Aviendha, like strong choice there. But
strong choice.
But it ultimately doesn't matter, right? Like they still get chased somehow. I don't really understand how, but sure.
What?
What do you mean? What? The Sanshin still managed to chase them.
Oh, the Sanshin later, yeah, because the gateway's still there.
Oh no, it's because they use the Bowl of Winds. That's different. The Sanshin come to them because they use the Bowl of Winds. That is actually set up. That's my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that there's a way this could have been set up so much earlier in the series, and then the payoff here would be more fun. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. If we had a little more information earlier on this, even if you hadn't fully explained it, as much as I would love to have more explanations of how it works, even if you had set it up a little bit more previously, yeah, I agree. It would have worked. Like, I would have loved, like, a discussion between, like, Egwene and Aviendha about this kind of thing, right? Where Egwene is like, no, I've learned, like, you can't do that. You do not, absolutely, like, not supposed to. And Aviendha's like, well, like, you know, like, there's a way to. Like, it's just very difficult, and...
I don't even need that. I just need to... I wish I knew the moment that Elaine and Nynaeve learned that you can't unravel a weave.
Oh, like we saw them being told, like, there are detrimental consequences in, like, a class or something.
Just set up that's a bad thing.
Well, and that feels like true power, or not true power, like the One Power 101, right? Like, that's your, like, introductory course. Like, you make this weave, you let it dissipate. Because if you try to pick it apart, you know, who knows what will happen.
Moiraine should have said that to Egwene in book 1.
I know she brings it up at one point. I can't remember when it is and who it's to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course. No, I get it. We need to move on. I think we've said what we're going to say about it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Avienda's really good at this thing. But the reason that she unweaves the weave the wrong way is because she's holding the gateway open and she's like, looking up and she's like, is that the Golem? Yes, it is.
The answer is yes.
It's also Moradin. Everybody's watching them go through this gateway.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mother is standing around being like, should we stop them? Nah. Yeah, what could happen? And then Moradin, like, lets them go and then is like, oh, fuck, I should have stopped them. I fucked up. I guess I'm going to go chase them down. But he's not working with the Golem. The Golem's working with someone else.
Yes. There are two different bad guys.
Because the Golem can chase the girls, but Moradin can't, but the Sanshin can.
Yeah.
How did the Sanshin beat Moradin to them?
I don't know. I mean, Moradin can do anything.
Maybe Moradin is currently fighting the Sanshin? I don't know.
Moradin can do anything.
What do you mean?
He is wherever he needs to be at any point in time.
That is true. Moradin is like truly Batman.
I should take that back. He can't do anything. He's actually very surprised when Aviendha is pulling apart the weave.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
This is exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Moradin
is from the Age of Legends.
Yes, and he's
very cool.
Very surprised about two things. Mm-hmm. That Aviendha unweaves the weave the way that she does.
Yeah.
And that Nynaeve healed Stilling, because that has never been possible.
Never, ever, ever before. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really cool that Nynaeve is the only person to have ever been able to figure that out. But I just assumed that it was part of the Age of Legends that was lost.
Yeah, I assumed that. Yeah, I also assumed that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Nynaeve did something that is truly unique.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Moradin so far as a villain?
I think he's very interesting. I think that he's like kind of like a Forsaken 2.0. Like, he's scary, you know, especially because he has control. He has two boxes. We know that one belongs to Megideon. I don't know who the other one is for. And so
that's a big question, right? Who's the other heart or core sorver for?
What if it's Varen?
Huh. Varen's an interesting choice for that.
I think that second box will be somebody we know who we believe is good.
That's crazy. What if it's Berlain? What if that's why she's being such a pain to Perrin?
No. I feel like Berlain is too small of a... Like, her country's too small. She's not a big enough, like, role in terms of, like, influence. Albino
says he is one step further. He's a 5
He's a 5 Seiken.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's what he feels like, though. And I think he's really interesting. And I think, honestly, having his perspective of stuff from the Age of Legends is really cool, because we haven't gotten much of that from the Forsaken.
No.
And so I'm glad. Like, I'm glad that we're getting a little bit more perspective on what was and what was lost.
I want to understand him a little bit, because he's starting to be in a lot, and he has no... Like, it is very strange to me that no one knows who he is. Like, if he's from the Age of Legends, but Mogideon doesn't know who he is, like, that's weird to me. And so I would like an explanation, a little bit of him. If he's going to be the big bad, I would like to care about his character. And it's hard if everything about him is a mystery.
I wonder if he wasn't, like, a person of importance during the Age of Legends, but something happened right at the end and he got access to, like, the true power or whatever, and he spent the last 3,000 years building up to what he is. But in the Age of Legends, maybe he was just, like, an Aiel or something.
I just feel like you have to put in so much work to get me there with you. at this point in the series. Like
That's fair.
like if that's what it is, they're gonna have to devote time to Moradin for me to care about him as a villain. Like, because the thing about the Forsaken is that when Demandred shows up, we have already heard, everyone's scared of the Forsaken. Like, there's so much work that's put into building up the Forsaken as these villains that they ultimately haven't been. I think honestly, I think the Forsaken have ultimately been weak villains. I don't think they're very good at villainy. I think they're all kind of weak and villainy. I find most Mo Gideon I find really interesting. Semiraj I find really interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess more so I find the female Forsaken interesting. I found almost all the male Forsaken to be kind of, okay, yeah, they're one and dones. Ishamael was interesting because he was crazy. Yeah. But like all the other male Forsaken have kind of like been like a final boss of a book and that's it. They're scarier to the people than they are to our main characters or to me.
Yeah.
So I was saying like I want something like a Moradin. I want what is Rand actually going to fight that actually gives him a challenge. And so we have this character who's kind of conveniently shown up now. Now you need to set him up. Now you need to like build up why I should be scared of this villain.
Yes.
And him just like being in windows watching things happen doesn't do that for me. It just I'm like, okay, well then if you want to deal with them, they're right there.
Yeah, he needs to be different enough from Ishamael, right? Because Ishamael was losing it. And everybody knew that. And we know that Moradin is also like losing it and very, very powerful. And so I really hope that he is different in somehow, right? Because otherwise, he's just another like just another like obstacle. Because I am intrigued right now, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, he's just another,
Yeah, and I think that I'm a little worried about this starting to feel like Rings of Power, where everything is just like a mystery until it's not, and then it's just dealt with immediately. And I think that the showing a little bit more about your villains isn't a bad thing. Like, I think that that's what's made Graendal really interesting. I think that's what Samael started to be interesting, and then he was just taken off the board so fast. And I think that I'm actually disappointed that Samael was taken off the board so fast, because I was actually getting interested in him because we were spending time with him.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew what he wanted, and I kind of knew what his weaknesses and his strengths were.
I don't think Samael's done.
Maybe. I honestly, I would actually rather that. I would rather Samael not be a one and done. Yeah. Because we've had so many one and dones that right now, I want, if your series is going to be 14 books long, and these villains are going to exist throughout them, I want to know more about them, not less. Right?
Yeah. Give me more of their perspectives. Like, I would rather read less about whatever clothes everybody's wearing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any strong, like, I think this is Moradin, or, like, do you think it's, like, completely new? I don't know. Do you have any strong theories?
The problem is unless it's someone from the Ruidian flashback, we haven't spent any time in the Age of Legends, so who could it be?
It's the Green Man.
It's the Green Man. The Green Man has come back. Like, unless it's like Lews Therin was split in two, and it's like one half of Lews Therin and the other half is in Rand. Like, we just haven't been introduced to enough people from the Age of Legends for me to have someone that it could be, right? Unless it's like, we find out that it's one of Lews Therin's 100 companions, right? But I couldn't name a single one of the 100 companions other than Lews Therin.
No, yeah.
And so that wouldn't mean anything to me because we haven't spent enough time with the concept of them.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So I think it's got to be someone new, or it's got to be someone that, like, there's going to be a flashback scene that introduces a bunch of people, and then we'll, like, be like, oh, it's from that flashback scene that we haven't gotten to yet.
Maybe the second soul box thing that he has is Slayer.
That makes sense.
I could see that.
Ooh, him, yeah. The crossover being Slayer makes a lot of sense.
And so, yeah, maybe Lan's ancestor... Yeah, okay, yeah.
I would actually really like that. I would like if Lan's ancestor... Because, Lan's ancestor would be... If he regrets his betrayal of Malkyr... It's not even his ancestor. I think it's his uncle, right?
That's what we think.
Regrets,
that's what we think.
Well, but I think it is literally the guy who betrayed Malkyr.
Yes, that's right? That is our assumption.
I think that would be a really interesting person to be in that other box. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a cool idea. All right, let's move on. Where are we at? I don't even know. The problem with the chapter breaks don't mean as much because all 6 chapters, spoilers, all 6 chapters are Elaine, Aviendha, and Nynaeve.
Yes, we get that, like, this... We don't really change locations at this point, which is fine. But yeah, so we know that Morden was watching them, and then we know that the Golem was also watching them. And the Golem, I think, can, like, smell out channelers anywhere, because he says that he can follow them no matter what.
Okay, so I did all my reading last night.
Yeah.
Except for the prologue. I had read the prologue before I got sick. Guys, I lost it at the end of chapter 2. I fucking lost my mind because so we get Morden's point of view. He kills a guy. He kills his servant, which I was like, Morden, you just killed your spy. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
He does not give a shit.
Evil people in this world just kill randomly. We cut to a golem entering a room where there's a collapsed wall, and then he starts feeding on the corpse in the room, and I screamed, and Clarisse is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, is this golem eating Matt?
Yeah, no.
And for a second, and then I realized, oh no, he's eating the corpse that Morden just left behind. But I was like, this golem is fucking eating Matt Cawthorn, and I lost my
Could you imagine?
shit.
That's just like, that's the end.
I was like, Matt is being fucking consumed by a golem. Oh my god. This really messed me up. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it really messed me up.
I was like, no, that's not what's happening. Like, F's in chat for Matt.
F's in chat for Matt.
So sad.
It was...
He's gone too soon.
My heart, the way that my heart shot out of my asshole and then was pulled back up. Like, it was like my heart bungee jumped in my own body. The idea of Matt getting eaten.
Yeah, Yeah, sucks to suck, you know?
Oh my god.
But that is not what happened.
No, it's not at all what happened, but like, whoo, my heartbeat was like...
Yeah.
And I was like, is this how he gets revived? He gets like eaten by the golem, and then the like fox head medallion touches the golem while he's like consuming Matt, so Matt like takes over the golem's body, and now Matt has golem powers.
No.
That's really where my brain went. No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Not.
But the golem is like, I can chase the women, and so I'm going to chase them because that seems easier, and I'm supposed to do that because my master told me to, but also, like, I understand the concept of freedom now. I did like that the golem was like, I understand the concept of freedom, and I think I want it.
Yeah. I was like, what is this, like, sentience? That was such a, like, weird but, like, cool little thing. Because I was like, oh, it's, like, a subservient, like, being, but it's, like, wants to also be free. And I was like, oh God, okay. All right, we're going here. This is going to be very sad.
Yes. Chapter 3, A Pleasant Ride, which is what Nynaeve calls Lan Mandragoran.
I think he's a little bit more than pleasant. I feel like that's like underselling.
Yeah, but compared to how she rides horses, Lan is probably very pleasant for her. Because usually she's just getting bucked about. And then he's like, I think he just Lan is the kind of guy to me who's like, when he's on the bottom, he just lays there and he's like, just bounce.
Just go for it.
Yeah. But when he's on top, you know.
He knows what he's doing.
He's that half full. You know what I mean?
No, that's not, no. Sorry, Smut Corner came early. Not like Lan. Sorry. So they go through the gateway. And
so part of the problem with how I read this, guys, I was so high last night when I did all my reading.
Not when you did all of it. Just when you got to the end.
Yeah. Methany! Oh my god, that cat's back on the keyboard. Someone get that poor golem a sock.
Methany, thank you so much for this.
Follow me, a free elf.
Chat.
Oh my god. So Aviendha gets through the portal after she unweaves it, and she goes and talks to Elaine, and Elaine is like, yeah, I didn't get your message. And Aviendha's like, I'm gonna fucking murder that woman.
I know! I was like, okay, wow.
And Elaine's like, Aviendha, your message sucked. That wouldn't have meant anything to me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Aviendha, you could have been like a little bit more clear. Like, I get it, but come on.
But like, she's so upset that the woman didn't deliver her message of, danger is when you least expect it.
Yeah, like that's not super helpful.
Helpful.
But yeah, we have this weird like montage. Then this chapter was like, oh my god. So basically, every single person in the train, except for the sea folk, is taking turns going up to Elaine, being like, hey, the Aes Sedai should be in charge of the prisoner. And then one of the kinsfolk will come up, be like, hey, the Aes Sedai should be in charge of the prisoner. And then she sends them away. And then an Aes Sedai comes up and is like, hey, we should be in charge of the prisoner. And then Elaine is like, no. And so they leave.
And what's worse is, Robert Jordan writes this chapter out of order.
Oh,
and
I
so
know.
it like bounces through this conversation out of order. And at the end of it, I was like, I would legitimately, chapter 3 of this book is not good. I think it also has my least favorite sentence in all of the Wheel of Time.
Your least favorite sentence? Okay.
Oh, no, wait, that's later.
That's, okay.
I literally highlighted, we are going to get to my least favorite sentence in the entirety of the Wheel of Time. Mm-hmm. I literally read it and was like, we'll get to it. We will get to it. It's later.
I love that.
But no, this whole chapter, I was like,
it was too much. The only thing funny and interesting about this chapter was that Aviendha being like, yeah, let me go start some shit. And then the Aes Sedai...
Well, no, the Aes Sedai are like, you should use Aviendha to start some shit.
Yeah, and then Elena's like, all right, fine, I guess go start some shit. And Aviendha just has this, like, wolfy grin. She's like, fuck yeah. And so she goes and I guess she says some shit to the sea folk who get all upset. And then they're like, hey, you should control your Aiel pet. And she's like, Aiel, they just do whatever they want.
She's not Aes Sedai. Yeah. And the sea folk are like, well, then we're going to be mad at the Aes Sedai.
I know. God, this was such...
All of these women are behaving like children.
This was so dramatic. Like, fucking, like, I felt like I was watching an episode of, like, I don't even know. I've never seen any of the fucking dramas, but, like, OC. Like, I was like...
This chapter, to me, felt like we were back in my least favorite parts of the Fires of Heaven.
Yeah. We were back at the circus.
Yes. This is the closest we've come to being to the lows of the circus to me again.
Yeah. Just this chapter. It was only
just
a chapter. And that's
because the next chapter's awesome.
Yeah.
Everything after this chapter, amazing.
Yeah.
But chapter 3, I was like, the beginning of this book is so slow. Literally nothing happens in 3 chapters. They go through a gateway and they ride down the road.
Yeah.
And it's painful.
Oh, and Nynaeve
the next 3 chapters, fucking incredible.
Yeah. Nynaeve is, like, pining over land. Like, she literally, like, can't leave him alone.
I mean, they should be on their honeymoon, so I'm okay with it. Nynaeve deserves to spend some time pining.
That's fine, but she keeps coming back, and Elena's like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, things aren't going well. And Nynaeve looks around, she's like, nah, you're fine, and leaves again. And I'm like, cool. Cool. Love that for everyone.
You would just think, like, after the third person going up to Elaine, you'd be like, guys, this isn't working. Like, maybe we should just, like, not.
Yeah. Don't waste your fucking time.
So the women get to the Kin's farm. Mm-hmm. And we meet probably the best new character in the Wheel of Time.
Is it Alice or Elise?
I'm gonna go with Elise.
Okay.
And or you can just call her who Nynaeve wants to be when she grows up.
Yeah.
Nynaeve hates this woman so much because Nynaeve is like, oh my god, that's my future.
That's me. That will be me. Yeah.
Elise is everything Nynaeve wishes she was.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
She tells the Aes Sedai what to do. She stomps around this farm and gets shit done.
She does, but at first she's like, Aes Sedai! And everyone starts running around like...
Oh yeah, she freaks out because she thinks she's about to be like fucking killed.
Yeah.
But when she realizes she's not going to be killed, she's like, all right, well then I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Elise is everything Cadsuane wishes she was.
Okay.
But Elise is like better at it.
We've just met her.
I know, and she runs shit without being a dick. Because no one can be mad at her. The difference between Elise and Cadsuane is that Elise isn't rude. Elise just doesn't leave you room to argue with her. It's a smart tactic.
Yeah.
Elise is so funny because she does this thing where rather than be a dick to get you to do, rather than be like, I have more power than you, listen to me.
Yeah.
She says what needs to get done so logically and so quickly that no one else has time to butt in and get upset about it.
Yeah.
And so Elise just she's like, okay, we're doing this. And if anyone wants to argue with her, they would have to take a weaker position. Because Elise isn't wrong.
Yeah.
Like, she's so practical.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas Cadsuane is like, I am Cadsuane, therefore you have to listen to me. Mm-hmm. Shut the fuck up. Elise doesn't say shut the fuck up.
I wonder who's older.
Elise might be 7,000. I don't fucking know.
She might be, yeah. But I love that she finds Nynaeve's hat.
Yeah! I love that Nynaeve's like, as long as Elise doesn't find it. And then Elise walks up with it and like brushes off. Is like, here's your hat. And Nynaeve's like,
yeah. All right. None of that. They have kids next door.
They're in school.
That hurt my ears.
I'm sorry.
You probably
I did not mean to hurt
just
your ears.
ruined.
I tried to turn that way, but did I break the microphone?
Yeah. No sound. The microphone's broken.
But if you're wondering what Nynaeve was like on the inside during that moment, that was it.
That was it. Yeah. She was crying.
So they get to the farm. Elise yells Aes Sedai, and then
I want you to go back and listen to that on the podcast.
Oh, it's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awful. I'm so sorry, everybody. Good thing Clarice is deaf in her right ear. Are you deaf in your right ear? Do you think I've caused you? Should we like put like a?
Should I wear an earplug in this ear? Honestly, I probably should. Oh God. Bless.
People aren't saying it was that bad, so I think it might be okay. This microphone's pretty good.
I know.
If you don't like get like right up on it.
I think it was just bad for me.
I just did better.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So they get to the farm and these women just start running.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait.
They start fainting and screaming.
I can't wait for this moment on the show. And when this scene happens and it's just like ba 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 ba, it's gonna be Yakety Sax.
No, it's the Benny clip that Sex Monkey made.
Yakety Sax.
Oh, is that what it's called? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Benny Hill? Or
yeah,
Benny whatever?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And Bryce says that they have headphones and it was okay, so
great.
Nailed it.
I'm happy for you.
Sennheiser Mark IV, let's
F's
go.
in chat for my right ear.
Are you actually?
No, I'm fine. I'm okay,
I want to make sure, like.
Yeah,
We'll cancel the podcast and go to a doctor right now.
I'm fine. Oh God. Yeah, this was
like
nonsense.
this is the most Yakety Sax. This became a cartoon in the best way.
Yeah,
and I love
it was a good moment to have.
Nynaeve being like, Lan, go round up the women, and he's like, fine. And then Brigitte looks at Elaine and like dares her to say the same, and Elaine's like, yeah, and she's like, fine.
I do love.
It cracked me up. I loved it. And granted, I was stoned, so like it was great, but like I loved it so much.
I love Brigitte and Elaine's relationship. I love it so much.
People are dropping F's in chat. Did our stream die?
No, that was for my ear.
Oh. Those F's are 2 years too late, guys. We've been married for 2 years. We're past that point.
You're right. There's no hope for me.
We really should be switching sides more so that your ears get equal amounts of damage.
Yeah, but when we did that for the morning show, people got upset. When
people
we sat
get
on
wildly upset when we switch our sides.
One day we'll just swap. You guys are gonna have to deal with it.
Maybe at the new place. Maybe from now on I'll sit on your left.
Maybe, yeah.
Although then I have to sit.
But my hair like parts on this side, so.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's just how we've made it work.
So yeah, the warders are sent off to corral the girls. Everything's explained, everything's fine, and it's time.
It is time.
It is time. Okay, good. No, DMCA.
6 seconds.
DMCA. We can't have another Hoobastank moment.
You're right. So
They climb the hill.
They go up the hill and they are going to teach the Atha and Mir how to link and create like a circle.
Yes, because
was more cool stuff that got explained to us that I was like, yes, please, why didn't we get this sooner?
Crazy stuff. Like you can be linked on opposite sides of the earth and the link won't break. You won't be able to like gain any power through it, but the link won't break.
Yeah.
James Ross, thank you for that super chat.
James, thank you for the super
Gonna try and get this started adding to the leather map fund.
For our new place.
The leather map fund is on hold while the pay for the new furniture fund is going.
Yes. We do need to move into our new place, and then we will find a Wheel of Time map to put on one of the walls.
Which is a good time to remind you that this is brought to you by MoviePalette.com. MoviePalette.com sells art of your favorite movies.
Yeah.
And so if you want us to have furniture, buy furniture for your place not furniture, but art at MoviePalette.com.
You nailed it. They're like, this is the best sponsor we've ever had.
Guys, this is the Two Towers.
Honestly,
somewhere around here. Pippin and Mary are as high as I was last night.
Yeah, that's their salted pork, and somewhere in here is where Aragorn tumbles off the cliff. He took a little tumble off the cliff.
He fell. That's Clark's favorite line in all of Lord of the Rings.
That is true.
He fell.
But that's not in this movie. That's Fellowship of the Ring. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
What?
Because we're talking about Gandalf, right?
No.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's Gimli to
Oh, to Eowyn.
Yeah, what are you
you're
talking
right.
about?
You're right. I got confused. It's fine. You're right.
her favorite line, I guess. Oh, God.
I don't know. A mine is also really good.
A mine!
Gimli gets all the best lines.
He does.
Confirmed. Yeah.
That still only counts as one.
Yeah. He's my favorite.
No, the best line in all of the Lord of the Rings is, "Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys." And you're like, do you guys have restaurants?
I know.
That was my favorite TikTok from this year, was the one that was like, do the Uruk-hai know what a menu is?
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
And
A list of
I've
food?
watched that movie probably 50 times in my life. Never thought about it.
No, I know.
And I was like, oh yeah,
Like, yeah, a menu. Would they know?
Why would they use the word menu?
Yeah.
It's very funny. Zeterog, thank you for that super cheat.
Zeterog, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Well, that's going straight towards the furniture, I promise.
Wheel of Time says, can you get TV shows too? Wheel of Time season 1 pick. I know they have Squid Game on there. I don't know if they have a Wheel of Time one yet, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It depends. Yeah.
Yeah, but they can do custom ones, so you can actually tell them what you want. And they might be able to make that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very dangerous over short distances. Dwarves are natural sprinters. I love that line. It's a good line. So they climb the hill. And they start the process of using the bowl, which involves a bunch of women standing around not knowing what they're doing, but they should have spoken about it first.
Yeah, kind of.
I feel like they were like, we'll just figure it out. And I was like, you could have had a conversation.
Methany, thank you. And Sammy, thank you for the super chat.
Methany, we appreciate you. We will use that on moving boxes.
Yes, thank you.
We are
feeling much better.
We're much better. Yeah, I'm healthier.
Yes.
We're not right now because we're back in this apartment. It's funny, like after about 15 minutes back here, I start to feel bad again.
And I start sneezing.
Yeah, so we have a couple more videos we have to film here, and then we're gonna be done with this place forever.
We are out of here.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next week, new setup, guys. It's gonna look very different because we're not gonna have the blue wall behind us. So get ready for an entirely new book club look.
New look, rebranding.
Yeah, same book club, new background.
Same smut corner, different location.
We have new rooms to have sex in.
Aw, that's fun.
Right?
I have to put some rugs down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you gotta put something down. Maybe a tarp.
Yeah, so I definitely think that they should have explained how to link before just like going for it.
They just seem to get upset. Like they're like about to do this, and then they start fighting again, and I'm like, guys, just like you know why you're here.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows why you're here. Like why are we pretending, right?
Yeah.
So Nynaeve chooses mid-link to explain how linking works, and everyone gets upset about it because they're like watching it. What? Zitterog! Thank you for the super chat. 50 for us on 50 for Matt Fun. Let's fucking go.
F's for Matt and Clarence.
F's for Matt and Clarence eardrums. That's a shirt. F's for Matt and Clarence's eardrums.
Honestly, that's a shirt that I need. Wow.
We need a graphic designer so bad.
We do. We really need a designer. Zedrog, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Super duper chat. That super duper chat.
We really appreciate it. Rodney Straight! Thank you for the super chat. What is happening? I'm like R2-D2 getting thrown across the spaceship. Oh my god.
Wow.
Hi.
Rodney, thank you as well for the super chat towards the furniture fund. Thank you.
James, don't feel bad.
No,
don't do that.
Guys, no.
This is a free show. You do not have to give us anything. We are paid by moviepalette.com and other places that we talk about on other episodes.
You guys, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Don't ever feel bad. Guys, this is a free show. If you throw super chats at us, just know we are so grateful, but like there's no expectation.
Yeah. You don't have to.
That's not what this is about.
No.
That's why we don't like that. And look, I'll be real transparent with you guys. That's why we stopped doing stream goals a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Was because we felt like we are able to be so supported by you guys just by the kindness and like the presence and the conversation.
Yeah.
And we don't want to ever like incentivize we don't want to incentivize getting money from our audience. If you want to give it out of the goodness of your heart, if you want to join the Patreon, if you want, like, if there's stuff that we can, like, if you want to buy merch, like, I would rather people get stuff from us than just give us money, right? And so there's no pressure, there's no anything.
Yeah, Joe, thank you so much for that super chat.
Joe, thank you.
You guys, honestly, like, just having this book club and having all of you here, and even though, you know, we missed last week, and I'm sorry, like, having everybody come back and just, like, talk about this book with us it means the world. And so all this is so incredible on top of all that. And just know that, like, you know, being here means a lot, but this is thank you.
Oh, is there something wrong with my shirt in the video? Should I not wear this shirt on streams in the future?
Is it too stripy?
Is it too stripy, y'all? Is it like messing with the video? Because if it is, let me know, because I won't wear it again. Nerdy wants to sell more Cat Sane shirts than Claris. I've already sold more Cat Sane shirts than Claris, so I'm winning that fight.
Wow.
Let's go. Also, if you're like waiting for thank you on Fourth Wall, we're sorry, they are coming. I've been sick.
Yeah. We'll get that done at the new place, so you'll get first look. If you get some merch, your thank you video will be from the new place.
The first videos of our new place will be the thank you videos on Fourth Wall.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Go buy merch.
Yeah, guys.
As I'm like, we don't need money from you, and I'm like, go buy merch.
No, but thank you.
Ooh, funny. Fun for Nerdy to get a hot tea fire map table.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Oh my god, that table is so cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Topless book club, not until I get in shape. When I have a 6-pack, we'll do a topless book club.
Problem is, you can show your nipples and I can't show mine, so.
We'll stream it on myfreecams.com.
Great. Book club.
Actually, I don't think I can be on. I think that one's women only. I don't know. I don't really watch cam.
It doesn't matter. Meg, thank you so much.
Thank you. Seriously, Mega K-Wags. Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, every single one of you, thank you so much. All this goes back into the stream and the content, so. Yeah,
because if we put it back into the stream and the content, we don't have to pay taxes on it.
It's a tax write-off. Honestly, everything is a tax write-off, so it's fine.
People are like, do you have any savings? And we're like, no, we spend all of our money on our content because that way we don't have to give it to the government.
And to make our content better.
Yeah, that too.
Oh anyways, sorry.
What were we talking about?
We got derailed.
What's happening?
Thank you.
Threk is like, MFC is women only. Thank you, Threk.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
I'm sure Threk had to look that up and didn't know that information already. We'll stream it on Chatterbait. Is that one?
What's the oh my god, no, I think that's like a one-on-one. What was that like? Do you remember that like chat cam website that was like you just get like matched up with a person? It was like Omegle? Yeah.
That still exists.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use this to buy a tomato. Michael Kielski, thank you for the super chat.
Michael, thank you. Neither of us like tomatoes. But
yeah, this is the wrong audience for that. Neither of us eat tomatoes.
We'll get like an orange or something.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. So the circle. Okay, so they're making the bowl. Bowl of the winds. Let's go. Back on topic. This is a show where we are professionals and we're making a show. And Claris has red hair and I have big tits because I am overweight at the moment.
So they're doing the thing with the bowl. They're making a circle. You're so fucking weird. Oh my god. I love you.
Oh my god. And so the sea folk have this whole like ritual where they scream at each other to like get in line. And then the Aes Sedai are like, okay, cool. And then they just step up.
Yeah, they have their whole, like, Navy hierarchy where they're like, you, in charge, here, at your stations. And you're like, oh, okay, I see where this is coming from.
I thought that it was going to go all the way around to all of the Aes Sedai. And the Aes Sedai are like, no, we just walk up. But they link up. And Nynaeve passes the control of the link to Elaine, which I didn't know you could do. I didn't know that once it was started, you could change who's in control, which was cool.
Yeah.
And I like the setup that Nynaeve can't link that they pass it to Elaine because they're not sure that Elaine or that Nynaeve will be able to surrender to anyone else, or that she'll be able to surrender twice.
Yeah.
And I thought like that was a nice little character beat for Nynaeve. It's keep it consistent that like yes, her block is gone, but Nynaeve isn't a fundamentally different character.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that was a really good bit of writing from Robert Jordan there.
Yeah.
And so they link everybody up and they pass control over to Tarana. Could not read her name.
Fair.
I was literally like Tarvalon. Like my dyslexic ass could not tell you what that woman's name is.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't read it. And it's in the book a lot. And I was like, nope, can't do it. And so they go through the most exciting part of this visually.
Tabriel? Yeah, I think that's it. Well, the problem is, no, there's Talon and then
that's
there's
it.
Tabriel.
Talon and Tabriel. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, that's just rude.
So the bowl rises up into the air and it starts to like spin and it's got waves on it, and then a thread like bounces on the top of it and like weaves lightning on top of the bowl.
Yeah, there's
and then
like
the
threads
bowl
on
changes
top of
color.
Threads, and then there's like different like points of the like there's I think it gets up to 9 or whatever, and it adds like I did not understand this process at all, but I thought it was really cool that like someone had studied it, which was really lucky because if no one knew what they were doing, this probably wouldn't not have worked at all.
But like so freaking cool. Yeah. Oh, they have Angreals. Let's not skip over the Angreals.
True.
Right. Okay. So Elaine has been sifting through all the crap that was with the bowl, and she finds 3 Angreals. They're not very strong, but they're good enough.
There's a really pretty one.
She gives the one that she wants to Aviendha because they are like basically first sisters now.
They're fucking, yeah.
They're kissing on the cheek, y'all.
They're kissing
they
on
are.
the cheek.
Oh, they be kissing on the cheek.
Yeah, they do.
And she gives one to Nynaeve because Nynaeve is like, "Where's mine?" And she gives one to Talon because Talon needs to have one for this ritual.
Yeah.
And so they, I loved all of the stuff with the bowl. I'm very excited to see what all of those Terangrials are.
Yeah.
As Elaine starts to fuck with them, even though the woman who fucked with them 40 years ago disappeared and is definitely coming back.
Yeah, Nerdy thinks that the woman who was studying the Terangrials is going to make a reappearance after having been burnt out. So...
Is she burnt out? We don't know that.
Yes, she is.
We don't know that.
That's what they said.
Yeah, we don't know that that's true.
I guess they could be lying.
It could be some Terangrial nonsense. We don't know what happened to her. She's gone, but she's coming back. Much like I think Elias will eventually come. Do you guys remember Elias? I definitely thought he was going to play a bigger part in these books.
I think he's coming back.
Oh, he's coming back eventually.
Yeah.
Hold your fire. Thank you for that super chat.
Hold your fire. Thank you.
Love that this scene feels like an end of book climax early on. It almost feels like this should have gone at the end of the last book. Some of these books are real slow burns until the end where most of the action hits. Also, congrats on the place. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
I genuinely think this Bowl of the Winds thing should have been the end of the last book.
Yeah.
Like 1,000. Like the fact that it's the beginning of this book feels weird because this feels like these 6 chapters feel like their own book. Like next week's reading is going to feel like a completely new thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like this feels like the end of last book.
Yeah.
We just had to get through like 3 chapters of, and then we had riding dresses on. Like this, the Bowl of the Winds should have been the finale of the last book.
I agree.
And then all of our complaints about the end of the last book not feeling like the end of that book would have gone away. You just needed this one chapter in that book.
In my opinion, honestly, Matt should not have been left at the cliffhanger. The end of last book and the beginning of this one should have been swapped. So that we had the bowl happening and then the Sanshin showing up. They see the lightning or whatever. And then we know that Matt's going to be in danger when he goes looking for Ulver.
100%. I agree with that.
I think that would have been a stronger choice, but that's me.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, that's
okay. You would have to find another place for all the Samael stuff. I think the Samael stuff wasn't set up enough for me, so I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
So they set up the bowl. They start spinning that bowl. It starts flying up. I am so curious to see how they're going to do this live action. Like I know how I would do it, and I think that there's like a really fun way to do this in live action.
Yeah.
Where like I would have it be like, I would basically have the bowl spinning in the middle, like above them. And then I would have the thread be like a crackly like bit of lightning from Talon. and I would have the you would see the link happen, and then the link would like fade into like opacity, so it's not really the visual.
Yeah.
And you would see the like thread, this lightning thread, like pass through Talon over the bowl into like someone on the other side, and then you would have
you're
these.
talking about Kiara.
It doesn't matter who it goes to.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you would have the threads be this, like, lightning that is literally passing from, like, the chest of one woman into the other over the bowl. And so then you would, the camera would, like, watch these threads pass over and over and over and over. Yeah. And then you would I would just rotate the camera slowly around this and have it be one long shot. And then after these threads have passed over and the bowl has changed and gone translucent, I would pass the camera like up over on a crane shot until it's staring straight down from above, and you just see this bowl circle spinning with these threads of lightning crackling over, so you don't see what the weave is on top of the bowl until the camera gets all the way above.
Yeah.
So it just looks like this weird like lightning pattern, but then when you pass it over, you actually see that the lightning has created a pattern over the bowl, and it's superimposing something over the bowl, and so you have this visual of these women standing there, and then this like lightning pattern over the bowl that like then shoots into the sky through the camera, and you have the moment where the weather changes. I think there's a cool, fun like visual here, and I can't wait to see what they come up with.
The problem is the weather doesn't change. Perry Wolf, thank you for that super chat.
Perry Wolf, the gateway exploding should have ended the last book.
Yeah,
No, I think that should have been the beginning of this book.
Really? I think either the bowl or that could have been the end of last book, but...
No, if you go all the way to the gateway exploding, then you're going too far. I think it should have just been the bowl. Like, because the bowl is the whole story.
Then we wouldn't know about the Sanchin at the end of last book.
Yeah, we would. We know they're there.
Not if we swapped out the mat stuff.
Right, but if this book starts with the Sanchin attacking them because they used the bowl, then this book becomes about the Sanchin attacking them, right?
Yeah.
And the bowl is the last book. I don't think you needed to introduce the Sanchin in the last book because you had the Golem, Mogideon, Moradin. Like, you already had so many villains at the end of the last book that you didn't need to introduce another one.
Shadar Haran.
Like, the Sanchin could have been introduced to Abu Dar at the beginning of this book, and it would have started a new narrative thrust post-bowl.
Yeah.
But now they're just kind of, everything just overlaps. And that's fine. It's a way to do it. It just means that the books don't have a natural conclusion.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But yeah, so...
nothing happens.
I'm glad about that.
Me too. I think it would have been really weird if it just was like, bam, and it worked.
You got a little lipstick on your tooth. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think it would have been weird if it like just suddenly started to pour rain.
Yeah.
Or it would have been interesting if like the world flooded a little bit. Like if like the consequences...
They steered too hard?
No, I just think that you would have to steer too hard. Like, I think that, like, it's not that they messed up. It's just that there isn't a way to stop what the Dark One is doing without a consequence. And, like, the consequence is that there is too much rain. I think that would have actually been a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And that, like, the next book deals with the fallout of this, like, week of flooding that causes a lot of damage.
Well, and also the ground is so dry.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that there will be consequences. Like,
I hope so. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah. Especially because it's this big, powerful thing. And Kyre thinks that she knows kind of what she's doing. Kind of.
Yeah.
But, you know, she might not. She might have only been able to read so much, right? So.
It's going to, for the TV show, it's going to have to be immediate. And then I'll be fine with that. You have to cut all the intermediate stuff.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, because it's the only reason that But the thing about it not being immediate is that it does set up why the sea folk stay with them, which I think will be important.
True, yeah.
Right? I think it's important that Nynaeve is able to be like, no, you can't go back to your ships. Because, you know, this leads to the Sanchin attacking. And the sea folk are like, oh, no, we're going to... And this is crazy. We're going to get back in our ship by opening a waypoint to a moving vessel. I was like, and Elaine is like, no, you're fucking not. That's so nuts.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? And she fucks it up. Like, she can't, like, yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't work. And Elaine's like, yeah, of course. And Elaine's like, no, you're coming with us.
Yeah.
Because you can't open a gateway on a moving ship. Loved it.
Yeah.
That was a great beat.
Yeah.
Really. Honestly, I complained about chapter 3. Guys, Path of Daggers is great so far.
Yeah.
The character it's a little slow and a little bit over-explained, but the character work in this book is some of the best character work we've had in this series so far.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that Nynaeve is more interesting than she's ever been. I think Elaine is more interesting than she's ever been. Aviendha is still peak. I think that Lan is great. I think the way that Brigitte is being handled is great.
Yeah.
I love the characters moving forward. It feels like they're learning lessons and they're becoming more interesting. Nynaeve is apologizing for things and is like behaving like an adult.
Yeah.
Even she's mooning over to Lan too much.
Well, but even so, she says, she's like, Eileen, I need your help to keep my head on straight with this because I know that I'm being influenced and I need you to be a friend for me. And I think that that's really amazing.
I think that this is not my favorite plotting in the Wheel of Time, but this is some of my favorite writing in the Wheel of Time.
Okay.
Which gets us to them running down the hill. They're like, oh no, the Sanshin are attacking. We might have fixed the weather. Maybe we'll see in 2 weeks. They're running down the hill. And we get to my least favorite sentence in all of the Wheel of Time so far. Because it means fucking nothing.
Okay.
They're running down the hill. And Elaine is wishing that she could channel more because she's tired.
Mm-hmm.
And she says this, or she thinks this. Channeling when you were tired was not at all like other times, but this was the worst ever. Channeling when you were tired was not at all like other times, but this was the worst ever.
Yeah, I don't.
What the fuck does that mean as a sentence?
It means she's the most tired she's ever been?
Okay, but she has channeled while tired before.
Yes, and this is the worst of those times.
I know, but but the problem here is that channeling when you were tired isn't a time. But it's a terrible sentence. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's just because time, like, channeling when you were tired is not at all like other times. It doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't. It's there's so many other ways to write this sentence, and this is not the right way to do it. It doesn't make sense.
All right, it doesn't bother me. I just don't think it's great.
It bothered me so much because it is important. It is an important thing to try and explain about the one power. Mm-hmm. And instead of using a sentence that lets us have more information about how the one power works, Robert Jordan chose a sentence that is deliberately so vague that it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Channeling sucks when you're tired, and I'm super tired right now, so it sucks more. What does like other times is not at all like other times mean in this sentence? When you're not tired? Yeah,
when you're less tired?
When you're not tired.
But those aren't times. Those are states. That it is word salad to be deliberately vague about how the power works so that he doesn't have to explain what he means.
Sure.
And it bugged me. I read it. Reading this sentence was like hitting a wall in the text because I was like, no, just explain it. Just explain the one power a little bit here.
I don't think there is an explanation for that. I think it's that you're more tired. You can't lift as much weight when you're more tired.
There's a way to say that is better English than channeling when you were tired is not at all like other times.
Yeah, no, I agree that there is a better way to say that.
What times are you referencing?
I agree that there's a better way to say that.
Like it is Elaine thinking to herself, not referencing anything. She's just going like, well, this isn't like those other times I channeled while tired. But that's not what she's saying. Mm-hmm. If it was like channeling while this tired was not at all like other times, then she is comparing this experience of being tired to other times that she was tired. Right? But because she says channeling while tired, meaning any time while tired, not specifically this time while tired, but any time while tired, is not at all like other times when I was what? What is, like, it is a comparison to nothing. But then this was the worst ever. But you haven't, the worst ever what? Is this the most tired you've ever been? Or is this the hardest time you've ever had channeling? Or is all times you're tired harder?
Both?
Like, it is such a complicated sentence to try and parse through. Because
Elaine's tired. She's not thinking clearly.
I know. I understand that. But it bugged me so much.
All right. I didn't even notice when I read it. So I think... yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what to say on that.
Cracked it. New place. When you say we won't see the blue, it's because you have a whiteboard and a red string just for this sentence.
The sentence structure didn't... I don't think it's, like, a great sentence, but it didn't I didn't hit a wall when I read it.
I just ran into the sentence because I was like, oh, we're going to learn something about like what it means to channel while tired. Like, because the lead up to it is the flows wavered in her grasp, almost as if trying to twist free, then snapped into place so suddenly that she jumped. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. I didn't know that, like, I don't, what does that mean? And then the follow-up to that sentence is, channeling when you were tired was not at all like other times, but this was the worst ever.
I think you just answered your own question.
It doesn't mean anything.
Well, yeah, it means what it said in the first half.
No, but it doesn't.
Karlak, thank you
Karlak, thank you so much.
That super chat.
Perhaps the editor was more tired compared to other times and missed this sentence.
Yeah, and the weaves are, like, they're harder to hold on to because she's tired. And the more tired she is, the harder they are to hold on to.
Oh, sure, but it's just, what is she comparing this experience to?
Sure.
It is a comparison to a concept of an idea. It is comparison to a hand wave. Like, the sentence would literally be stronger if channeling is hard when you are tired, but this was the worst ever, would be a stronger sentence than what is written. Because it is comparing an experience to other times.
You should be an editor, because I don't think anybody else noticed.
It's was not at all like other times. And like, what does that mean?
You're wrong. I'm saying that nobody else noticed.
I know, it just bugs me so much.
I see that.
It's only one sentence. It's literally, I just wanted to talk about this one sentence because it bugged me. If the sentence does not bug you, I'm not saying it should bug you. I want to be really clear.
Yeah.
This literally just was like the most.
You're like, there's a better way to say that.
Yeah, it's like when people like, he's strong like a mountain. And I'm like, that doesn't actually mean anything. Mountains aren't strong.
Yeah.
Like, functionally, that is a comparison to nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, we'll put that one on a t-shirt for you.
Yeah.
Just this sentence.
Jeremiah, thank you so much for that super chat.
Super chat.
I remember Robert Jordan saying on his blog in the early 2000s that there was a period of time where the publisher skipped the editing process because they wanted the book now. That's what happens when you skip the editing process. Jeremiah,
wow.
I think you're right.
Wow. Okay.
If I was editing this book and I got that sentence, I would literally be like, you have to explain what you mean.
I think you'd
like
be
the
a good
sentence
editor.
has to be different because you are either comparing, because it is unclear whether you're comparing this to other times she was tired or just every other time she's channeled ever.
Yep.
And it's just unclear. It's an unclear sentence. It's not. It's one bad sentence in 4 million words. We can move on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share guys. This podcast is about me sharing my experience of reading the books with you. If you don't want that, go read. I don't know. Find someone else.
It's fine. You just said you wanted to move on, and then you went back to it. So
because it drove me fucking crazy last night, and it might have been because I was high, and it like hit me harder because I was stoned. But even now, reading the sentence, I'm like, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you're the one who said you wanted to move on.
You have to make an assumption in order for it to mean something.
I will move on for us then.
What do you want to move on to, Clarus?
To what happens next.
What happens next?
Elise
finds the hat.
They flee, yes. They find the hat, and they run away, and Elaine is like, all right, we're going to make a gateway, and we're going to go to Andor. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Well, first they see a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
And they throw fireballs at it.
There's got to be dragons of some kind. But yeah, they're like shadow spawn. They don't really know exactly what they are, but there's 2 of them, and they bring them down with fireballs. So they're like, okay, well, now we need to get the hell out of here. They see like a weird lightning storm over Abu Dar, but there's no clouds. Like, oh, we fixed the weather. And they're like, nah, nope, something doesn't feel right. And Elaine recognizes the helmets. And so...
Well, and she recognizes the dragon.
Oh, does she?
She names it.
Oh.
Because the one from the circus probably explained them all to her. Like, she knows the name of the dragon.
Oh, I didn't.
Because, of course she does. They like, interrogated what's-her-face. Not Eludra. What was the name of the... name of this? No, the Sanchin in the circus. Who was the elephant minder.
Oh, it's another S name as well.
Fuck, I can't remember her name.
Yeah. Yeah, does matter. But yeah, there are different animals, and
Rakan. No, Sarandon.
Yeah, Rakan is the dragon.
So they throw fireballs at it.
Yep.
And they're like, oh shit.
They're like, the Sanchin are here.
The Sanchin are definitely going to send more people now because they know we're channeling.
Yes. You can feel weaves being channeled. They just like held a lot of power.
Landon the DM says it's not a dragon. I don't know what it is. It's a giant winged flying thing.
To us right now, it is a dragon.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's not real.
It's sure. So yeah, so they run and Elaine's like, I'm gonna make a gateway. We're gonna go to Andor. And then now this was weird to me. She was like, we're gonna travel to the place where I like learned how to like ride a horse as a kid.
Yeah. With Gareth Brine.
That is 2 weeks away from Camelin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why does that make sense? Why would you travel 2 weeks to go out and learn to ride a horse?
What do you mean? They're rich. They have houses all over the country.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's so much time to go for a riding lesson.
Well, no, you would go for the summer. It's probably like their summer house or...
Their summer house.
They're not riding 2 weeks for a lesson. They're riding to like... They're going to go summer in that house and they winter and, they're bouncing around.
Sure. I don't know. That was just very weird to me. I was like, why are we...
You know they don't have cars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
so
why
it takes
I'm like,
time to get
why
places.
don't you just go outside the city like a couple hours?
Because you're going to build your estate in like on the nice lake. It's like living in Calgary but having an estate in Lake Louise.
Sure. Okay.
It takes time to get to Lake Louise when you don't have cars and roads.
All right. They go to her cabin, basically.
Yeah, they go to like, yeah.
Yeah. It was just weird to me. I was like, this is such a weird, like, I was like, why is it so far away?
Because they can't move very fast.
But it wasn't like, this is where we spent each summer, or this is where we spent each fall. It was like, this is where I went to learn how to ride a horse. And I was like, this seems very far to go to learn.
No, she's saying this is where she learned to ride a horse. But it's not where she went to learn to ride a horse. It's just where
maybe
this is the
like
estate
a
where she
prestigious
happened.
like riding camp nearby.
Or maybe
like,
this is where all the good horses are. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just a little strange to me. Holy Fire, welcome back to the nerd table.
You'd think with RJ's naming conventions it would be called a Ragan.
Oh my god. Too many names.
Sidarnit says she's probably afraid of chopping somebody in half and wants to be in a Roman area. That's why I think she drops in here. Yeah.
Totally. I was like, very excited when she was like talking about going to Andor for a split second, and then she's like, we're 2 weeks away, and I was like, no!
Well, and I think that one of the things that I love most about how this is set up is that it's the halfway point between... She wants to be close enough that they can get to Camelin fast, because she doesn't want to stop at other people's estates where they might try and kidnap her until she gives up trying to be queen.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to be so close that she's right in Camelin and like causes a hubbub. She wants to ride into Camelin. And so she's like, this is like the right distance.
I think I was just upset that it was going to take another 2 weeks for her to get there, because I just want her to show up in Camelin and have that be like...
Girl, I don't think she's getting to Camelin.
I don't know either.
I think shit's going to go down because they open the gateway.
And the Sanshin appear on the other side. They like ride over the hill.
No, well... The Sanshin are like bearing down on them.
Yeah.
And so they open the gateway and they get through.
Yeah.
And then they're like, everybody get up the hill. And Nynaeva's like, why? And then Elaine plucks a thread out of the gateway. And you're like, she's like holding the one thread and she's like, you guys all have to go. I'm not giving you a choice.
Yeah, literally.
And everyone's like, God damn woman. What is happening? And Aviendha and Brigitte are like, we're staying. And I was like, I mean, I know that it's Robert Jordan. I know they're going to be fine. But, like, I was like, oh, my God, this is so tense. And then everyone else starts running up the hill because they're like, if I only could make a deal with God, I'd get him to swap our places. I'd be running up the hill. And this is literally what I was thinking. Because of that song, that's all I could think about reading this chapter.
Oh, my God. Be running up that hill.
Because at the end of this, when Aviendha, like, grabs Elaine and is, like, riding her up the hill, I was like, if I only could... I make a deal with God.
Do you think that the Wheel of Time show gets the rights to that song?
I fucking hope so, because it was so funny. I was so high, and I was like humming this song to myself while I was reading them running up the hill. I was like, this is hilarious.
I love that. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so they basically are like, they force the sea folk to come with them. They get through the portal, but then the Sanshin start coming through the portal. So Brigitte is like shooting arrows. This is like crazy. This Aviendha has her belt knife out. She's going full like.
I love the moment when they find out it's the Sanshin, and Brigitte's like, "My arrows are only normal this time," and Aviendha's like,
"Yeah," and Elaine is like, "Brigitte, you have to learn how to keep your secret identity."
I know.
That beat was fantastic.
You're doing a terrible job at pretending you're not a dead warrior named Brigitte from the Age of Legends. Like...
Yeah. I don't have my magic arrows. Avienda's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is one of those beats where I'm like, Aviendha is basically using a sword. Her belt knife, like the Aiel being like, no, it's only 9 inches. It's a knife. I'm like,
yeah,
sure,
I actually would really like to know what the Aiel definition is between a sword and a knife. Because, like, at what length is it okay to use or not?
If it's longer than a very large man's penis, it's a sword. But if it's the average male penis size or smaller, it's a knife.
But there are knives that are like 10 inches.
There are dicks that are 10 inches.
But that's not average.
No, I'm saying like if it could feasibly be the size of a large male's penis, it's a knife.
So if it's like bigger than 12 inches, like nobody has more than a 12-inch dick.
There is one guy who does.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, he seems very famous for it, so.
Hey, you know what? If it's working for you, I'm happy.
I think that has to be the defining number, right?
So men are only allowed to use knives that are smaller than their penises.
No, they have to use a knife that is the exact same size as their penis.
It's not a marriage knife like every
Aielman goes to the blacksmith, whips it out, gets hard, and the blacksmith measures and is like, all right.
Okay, all right, this is what we're working with. Sounds good. Oh my god.
And just Ruark pulls out his knife and it's a fucking, like...
It's a leg.
Oh my god.
What? That's a club.
God damn, Ruark. Wow.
That
Mega K-Wax says, today on Nerdy Nightly, using penis length to determine knife versus sword.
We're also an educational channel, if you didn't realize.
Welcome back to Crash Course. I'm Hank Green. On this episode, we're talking about...
Fun fact, humans can run faster than horses. Can this firework blow a hole in a wall?
Can this firework?
It's fine. Jess, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for your
Can this firework blow a hole in this wall? Why do you sound like you're from...
I'm Cartman.
What's the size of Kalendor? Rand's got a massive dick, you guys. It's like...
It's
oh my
swinging.
God.
It's swinging.
That's actually why that's why he felt so bad about having sex with Min, is he was like, I broke that girl.
Yeah, she's too small. And that's why Avienda's like, God, I want to fuck Rand again.
Smut Corner is at the end of the podcast.
Sorry, you're right. Jess, thank you for that super chat.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, they fight. They have their big battle. It's so cool. The way this was handled was great. But they realize that they're coming through, and Elaine is not going to. They get hurt. Like they all take some wounds, and
Brigitte and Aviendha both get shot
by
with crossbows.
And so they're not going to be able to. Elaine is not going to be able to unweave it in time. So Aviendha grabs her and starts like dragging her backwards so that she can try and unweave from a distance.
And then Brigitte puts them on horses backwards.
Yeah, it's cool. And so they get over the hill, and then Elaine lets go, and a nuke blows up.
Yeah, basically, she sees the domain and the Soldan popping up. And
6 of them. Which is all of them.
They get over that hill and she lets go of the weave.
And it's described much like the same description of seeing a nuclear bomb go off, where there's a bright white light that flashes.
Yeah.
And then, it's very interesting.
It's obviously smaller, more contained, right? Like, yeah. But still,
it's a tactical move.
It's incredibly dangerous.
And I loved this so much.
They actually got hurt. They actually got fucked. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, there's huge stakes here. And I love that Elaine is like, we could use this as a weapon. And Avienda's like, no, you fucking idiot. It's not worth it because it could just be a bright flash of light. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. No, you idiot. But I also what I really liked about it was the concept of she got shielded. That's why the thing ended. She was trying to pull it apart, and the shield. Right. Right. Thank you. Yeah, the domain hits her with the shield. Right. Kind of. And she was like, normally I'd be able to bat that off, but in my state. Because she's so tired, and it's not like other times. It's all right. We're moving on from that. Elaine's not like other girls. We know that for sure.
I will say I appreciated the side effects of this more than I do the side effects of Balefire. Like, everyone talks about Balefire like it's this. And I think that I having read this now, I wish that there was more difficulty with Balefire, because it was really cool to see the consequences of the actions here.
Yeah.
And that they do get a win, but there's a big, it could have gone very bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Where it never really feels like Rand is almost in danger of using Balefire.
Yes, because we haven't seen those consequences.
We've only seen Balefire used safely so far.
Yeah, James Smith, thank you so much for that super chat. We love Ted Swain.
Guess who's the best? Ted Swain. I will read it.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys. I'll watch after work. Have a great weekend. You as well, James Smith. We're happy to be back at it.
Yeah, I know. I think that Balefire does have consequences. I just don't think we've seen them yet because it plays with time in a weird way. This was nice.
This
was the gravitas.
So much Balefire.
No, I know. Yeah. But this actually like meant something. And I like that Aviendha was like, no, Elaine, that's not how this works.
100%.
And then we have some very beautiful moments. At the end of this, because
we kiss cheeks.
Well, Elaine realizes what Aviendha, like, what risk she was taking by staying with her, and she's like, "I want you to be my first sister."
As soon as we find a wise woman, we're getting married, girl.
And then they make out, and it's really hot.
Who needs Rand?
Yeah, and Brigitte's like, "Okay, that's fine."
Well, and Brigitte's like feeling it.
Well, because she feels like, because we know because they're both women, they feel it more strongly. So she's like, oh, all right, okay.
Brigitte's like, I need a very ugly man to go jump on top of right now. Oh my god. Mike Kelsey, thank you for that super chat. Why didn't Elaine want the Sanchin to examine the gateway? Because that weave is not in the public domain. Yes. That's so good.
That was great. That was fantastic.
What a good public domain joke. That was great.
Done. That's like 11 out of 10 right there.
I'm not always a pun guy, but like that was well crafted.
You crushed that one. Good job.
Done. So yeah, but this gets into how did the Sanchin beat Moradin there? Because if the Moradin wouldn't feel them using the bowl.
Huh?
That's why the Sanchin feel it and Moradin doesn't. Because I was saying, because Moradin's like, I have to go after the girls, right? But then the Sanchin beat him there. And I was like, why? If Moradin can, but it's because the Sanchin have Domain, who are women, who can feel them using the bowl. Oh, so no, wait, but no, Saidin.
They use Saidin.
We didn't talk about the Saidin in the bowl.
I mean, there's not much, I don't really
I know, but the Saidin in the bowl, where did it come from? Did the bowl channel Saidin?
The bowl has a Y chromosome. I don't know.
The bowl has a Y chromosome.
I don't know. I didn't know what it means, and so I was like, eh.
I like the idea of the Saidin coming in. I really wanted to know how, because I thought someone would have to channel it, but like apparently like objects can pull the power.
I don't know.
Which is interesting, if true. Interesting concept.
Yeah.
One of those wave finders with the sea folk is a man. And the sea folk...
the sea folk walk around topless. There's no way that a sea folk person would get away with being like pretending to be a woman.
You can just have small tits. I've got titties right now. Like I'm a little bit overweight. I could like put these in a little bit of a cinch. I could have some cleavage.
I think someone might be sus and be like, pull down your pants. And then to be like, you're a dude, you have to be killed.
I'm just saying, I find it interesting that the Saidin happened. I was like, because I think it's a really cool idea. I just was wondering, like, who channeled it.
Yeah.
And maybe nobody. How? Like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping we get more explanation of that, because we're going to start having... I'm excited for when this... We've had so much talk about Saidin and Saidar being used together, but we've never seen it. And so I'm excited for more of that.
Yeah.
But Moradin wouldn't... but he would feel them because the Saidin was there, so I don't know.
Moradin only uses the true power, so I don't actually know if he feels...
We don't know
Saidin
that he
and
only
Saidar.
uses true power. We've only seen him use the true power, but like he probably has access to Saidin.
Yeah, we don't really know what those differences are. Like, can you use the true power if you can't use the one power? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's the end of the reading. We did it. Hey, no, we didn't. The Sanchin. They see the bomb. They're like flying their little dragoons, and then the bomb goes off, and the one Sanshin's like, oh, fuck.
I guess I have to write a report now. Thanks for all the fucking paperwork, God damn it.
I do love that they're like, I've got to write a report.
Yeah.
But also, they only sent those 6 domain, and I kind of feel like the girls could have won that fight.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No.
What?
Only Aviendha... Well, the Sea Folk, Aviendha, Nynaeve, and Elaine are the only ones who could... Well, and the kinswoman could... There's a lot of channelers there that could fight.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of... keep in mind, a bunch of
It's funny how useless Marilla is.
Well, no, the ones that are... Here's the thing. The ones that were in the circle are all exhausted. And so they're not going to be, like, a ton of help. But yeah, there are a bunch of other people there. I think it would have been a fight, but they would have lost people.
Yeah, I think they would have won, though.
And this
against
way...
6 domain.
This way, we're on our way to Andor, and that makes me happy. Or we're in Andor, we're on our way to Camelin.
Could have been... You're right. Like, that could have been the end of a book, right? Like, this really could have been the end of a book. It was a great sequence.
Oh, so good.
It was so well done. I think that this will be... In the show, this will be the end of a season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
End of season 4, maybe?
Yeah.
I thought this was great. Honestly, chapters... I didn't like chapter 3. 4, 5, and 6... Awesome chapters of this.
Yeah.
Like, this was... 4, 5, and 6 are what I love about Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Great character stuff, really cool magic stuff that I wish had been set up earlier, but, like, I'm fine with how it shows up here. Mm-hmm. I really think chapters 4, 5, and 6 of this were rad to read.
I agree.
And, like, yes, I did have a problem with one sentence. It's not I just wanted to be pedantic. It's not a big deal. 4, 5, and 6 of this book... The height of this, right? Like not up to with the Battle of Emond's Field. That is still the best chapter of this.
Yeah.
But, like, I would put those in that, like, S tier of, like, great chapters of this show, this experience, because I really loved everything that went on. I thought the battle with the Sanshin was so desperate and cool, and this final moment where you have this big explosion, and then what immediately comes out of the biggest explosion isn't like celebration. It is a very deep emotional change between 2 characters.
Yeah.
And that's what I want from storytelling. The end of the battle, to me, isn't about the, like, rah, it's cool in Star Wars when it happens. Like, I love that. But the most important thing that happens at the end of Return of the Jedi is not that the Ewoks are playing the drums on the Stormtrooper heads.
Yeah.
It's when Luke turns over his shoulders and sees the ghosts of his mentors, right? And so the emotional beats after the victory is what's so important. And so that emotional beat between Elaine and Aviendha here is so fucking good. Yeah. Like, it's so good. And I loved it. I really, really loved it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this part, like I said, we talked about the issues with it, but I agree. I think there was so much good stuff here, and I wish we had a little bit more at the end of last book. I, personally, if I had been crafting this story, I would have changed that around a little bit, but that's fine. You know, it's not mine too. It's just mine to enjoy. And I did. There's a lot in here that I did enjoy, and I think it's going to be hard to choose, like, a high.
Oh, it's not for me. I deliberately skipped something because it's my high. I don't want to bring it up in the high-lows.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Should we do high-low?
Sure, yeah.
What's your high? You just said it's going to be hard to pick, so...
I know, now you're going to make me choose something.
There's something... Chat's like, we missed something. I'm like, oh, I know. Mine's deliberate. Don't reach out right now. Come up with your high on your own.
No, I know.
Don't steal from them.
I'm not stealing. That was tough for me because, like, I literally, like, wrote down, like, yeah, that like emotional emotional moment that we get. Can I just say maybe my high is the character development we get from all 3 of the girls?
Sure, I think that's very valid. I think it's...
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick because Nynaeve has some great shit, and Elaine and Aviendha, they all have really poignant emotional beats in this section, and so I'm sorry if I can't pick one because yeah, Nynaeve's hat.
My low, because that's how we do it. Her high, my low, her low, my high. We compliment this bitch because this is what we did at my childhood dinner table. We commiserated over lows, celebrated our highs. There are the explanations in there now. My low is chapter 3. I just think that and then this person came and said this thing, and then this person came and said, I just, none of it mattered, and I just didn't care.
Yeah. My low, and not because it was, like, poorly, like, written by any means whatsoever.
Was it the sentence that I said?
No, it was not. That was not my low. My low was Aviendha being so hard on herself. Like, Aviendha goes and stands at the edge of a cliff and is like, I failed you, Elaine. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? Like, and Elaine's like, no, you haven't. But
that was a really good moment between the two of them.
Well, it was great. And that's why it's my low, because it was like sad, but not because it was like poorly done, right? It was really well done. And Aviendha thinking that she's like becoming like a milk-hearted wetlander and pulling apart the weave and making that choice based on instinct because she sees this thing and she is worried about it, and it was the right choice. Like, all of that, really well done, but it just made me like sad. So I guess that's my low.
It's interesting that your low is one of my favorite things about this section.
Oh,
is how complicated Aviendha is.
Yeah.
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 We have different ideas about lows. Sometimes your like my lows are always things that I like didn't enjoy reading, and your lows are like, this made me sad, but it was well done.
Yeah.
My high is before they go through the gateway, there's a beat that I just think is like surprising and the best part of this whole section. And I want to take a minute to talk about it.
Great.
Because they're about to go through the gateway, and Elaine's like, I'm taking everybody. And Nynaeve goes, I'm not coming. I'm going back to Budar to save Matt because he came back to save me, and I need to go save him. And I was like, Nynaeve, who is this lady? Who is this lady? Where was this Nynaeve in Fires of Heaven?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yes. And then it broke my heart because Elaine and Aviendha explained to her why that's not a good idea. And Nynaeve agrees with them. She knows that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But...
Because what are they, what are you going to do, right?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And Nynaeve is very sad about it. And she agrees. And she does probably the right thing ultimately. Because just becoming a domain helps no one.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is the kind of character growth that we would have seen much earlier in a shorter series.
Yes.
And it's so stretched out because it's 14 books long.
Yeah.
But like this was the fucking best moment in this whole reading.
Yeah.
I was like pumping my fist for Nynaeve, which I almost never do.
I know.
You were sleeping, and so I was like trying to be so quiet. But I was like, this was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And
Yeah.
it gives me a lot of hope for where Nynaeve is going as a character.
Yeah, yes. Oh my god. After, so many words of being like, God damn it, Nynaeve, like, it's really nice to have these moments with her where you're like, I understand you, and I appreciate you trying to do the good thing, even if it's gonna get you killed. There's no way that Nynaeve could walk into the middle of the Sanshan army and find Matt, right?
Well,
it just wasn't gonna happen.
It's the first time that Nynaeve has done something or has acknowledged that Matt did something for her without being pressed by someone else.
Yeah.
It's the first time that she said, Matt saved me, without someone having to force her to.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's really important because there's a lot of people who are saying like this is literally her throughout all the books. It's not. Nynaeve
needs to be bullied into like acquiescence.
Nynaeve leaves after them the first time for the right reasons, right?
Yeah.
She absolutely does. But she does it because of like her idea of what her like job is. Like she does it out of a sense of duty. This is out of a sense of like love and compassion and care for Matt that is really genuine and nice to see because it is a different relationship dynamic between the two of them. And Nynaeve has spent so many of these books being like, I need to save Matt from himself because he is a problem.
Yes.
This is the first time we've seen Nynaeve say, Matt is doing the right thing and I need to go help him.
Yeah.
It is very different than thinking that he's wrong in what he's doing and I need to save him because he's dumb.
Yes.
Which is what she's done through so much of this. And this is where she goes, he's doing the right thing. And he's done the right thing in the past and I need to do right by him.
Yes. And her doing the right thing for the right reasons as opposed to being told or pushed or prodded in that direction.
Yeah, and she doesn't need Aviendha to shame her into it.
Yes, exactly.
Which is really important, right?
Yeah. No, it was a really, really good moment, and I'm glad that was your high.
It's my high of all of the Nynaeve stuff we've seen so far.
Yeah.
This is, in my opinion, Nynaeve's best moment in 8 books. And she's got some great moments, don't get me wrong. Like, I love when she's powerful.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, emotional power is more valuable to me in storytelling than physical power. I am fine to read a book without superpowers if the emotions are great, right? Yeah. All of the superpowers in this mean nothing if the characters aren't great people who I want to love. And I fucking love Nynaeve right now. Yeah. This beat is so fucking awesome. Like, even the fact that she thought about Matt in this moment is so good. It's the high. It might end up being my high of the whole book. It's awesome. Everything about this section And chapters 4, 5, and 6 are all great. There's a bunch of highs. The Bowl of the Winds visuals were incredible.
Yeah.
The fight with the Sanshin is incredible. But the best moment is Nynaeve going, no, I need to go put myself in danger for Matt because he did it for me.
Yeah.
It's rad. It's really, really rad. And I was so taken aback by it. It's why I wanted to save it for my high.
Yeah.
I skipped over it kind of subtly because I was like, I want to talk about it at the end. Nynaeve had her best moment, and it was really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Dakuna has a question for you.
Do you think it's because she finally fully slendered last book and is starting to open up to her deeper feelings Nerdy Nightly? I think 100%. I think that she is she's a three-dimensional person finally.
And I also I don't want to say that this is happening because of Man, but I want to say that I hope that Lan brings out the better stuff in Nynaeve as well. Right? I think her character growth is her own, but I think that also Lan's predicament. She's been so cold and affronted because she doesn't know where Lan is. She has no idea what's happening there. He's promised himself. He gave her the ring, and then he's like, no, fuck it. You deserve some happiness. I'm gonna leave. She was dealing with all of that, and I think that finally having Lan back clears a little bit of that up and gives her the room to actually work through her own shit.
I will say though that she makes that leap to surrendering before Lan comes back. So it's not because of him, right? I think that there's enough here that it isn't tied. I think that some of it is. I think that you can't have a relationship like a marriage without being influenced by the other person, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that there's some of her growth is because of Lan, but I think that there's enough that is just on Nynaeve's shoulders that I don't feel like it's misogynistic writing.
No, it was never taken away from her as the character herself. I just think that having all of these things happen in the previous book, it is an accumulation, which makes her feel like a fully fledged out character as opposed to just I did a thing, right?
And it was great.
Yeah. I do have one more thing actually that I wanted.
We don't have time. We have to go.
Very quick. We'll talk about it next time in depth, but maybe I'll talk about it with some of you in the Discord. But we find out that Aviendha has this talent for being able to completely read a weave, the residue from it. She's like, yeah, that thing that no one else can do, I can do that. Very cool. However, she cannot figure out how she made the gateway that she made when she ran away from Rand.
Yes.
Now, it's
her block.
No, but my understanding is that residue lingers for up to 2 weeks, especially if it's a strong weave. So did she just never go back to take a look at it to see how she did it?
No, they fled. No, they fled there. They left that town.
But his room, that's where she made the portal. She made the portal in his room.
Yeah, and they left.
They left
that town. They're not there anymore. That was that random town they stayed at for a night.
Was it? I thought they came back because her sister was outside cheering at the window. No, her sister was outside cheering at the window, being like, yeah, my sister got fucking laid.
Yeah.
And she didn't use her talent to read the weave that she had made on her way back.
No, she was traumatized because she had just gotten sexed up for the first time.
She had just got...
I don't know. Look, he introduced that in this book. This didn't exist in that book, so who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, maybe I'll chat about it with some of you in Discord, but I thought it was a little bit weird.
We talked about the Rack and Rider POV already. He's got him filed the paper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was cool, and it was fun to have that moment of being like, oh, yes, every rider dreams of owning a bar, a tavern, but it never happens.
This is sort of a hot topic in the Wheel of Time community, Joe Chico says. There's a Dusty Wheel episode on it.
Oh! Maybe I will ask someone to veto that video for spoilers and see if I can. No, it probably has.
We'll get there eventually.
Never mind. Yeah. It's fine. I will read and find out.
All right, y'all. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the dislike button, all those things. Follow us around the internet. I'm at Nerdy Nightly,
and I'm at Claris Polaris.
We have to go let someone into our apartment, our new house, not this place.
Yes.
So we are gonna have to leave soon. But moviepod.com. Thank you for
this beautiful
sponsorship.
Piece of art. Yeah.
Before we leave to go to our new house, let's get this out of here because I don't think they want to be associated.
What's next? Guys, we already
use code nerdy15 at moviepod.com for
it's fine.
That sponsorship. Smut corner.
So we already put a lot of smut.
Yeah, but we mostly put our smut out there. Jesus. I've never talked about my boobs as much in a video as I have in this one. Where would you add a sex scene to this? It's all lesbian sex. There's no men.
Maybe they show up to the farm and it's just an orgy retreat, right? Like all the like farm girls around think it's like a retreat, like spa, health and wellness, and it's actually a big fucking orgy where they all like have orgasms and then go back to normal life.
I think that I want a scene of Elaine. She's going through the terrangrials and she finds a vibrator and she's like, "What does this do?" And she just like tries it out.
So now they have the strepongrial and the vibrator grial.
It could have worked if you had committed, but you uncommitted so hard.
I did. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to associate myself with that terrible.
I like the idea of like the bowl of the winds, like becoming like a Tentai scene where there's just like tentacles from the bowl of the winds, and everyone's getting like fucked by the bowl of the winds as it fixes the weather. It's just this 13-woman orgy.
Oh my god.
Vibrongrial. 13 girls, one bowl. Oh god. Oh god. It's like 6 girls, 1 pitcher.
No. No. Jesus Christ. There's
maybe
a lot of
Moradin and the Golem. I feel like they would love to just like true source it up on each other.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't like run into one another though, so they'd have to like have this like steamy like seeing each other from across the room, edging towards one another. You know, like there'd be like whole thing.
I bet Moradin's into edging.
100%.
You know, Moradin edges hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
He edges so hard.
So hard. Yeah.
Oh no. Varen is also an edger. For 100%. Varen lives on the edge of an orgasm.
At all times.
At all times. She's just like ready.
That would be tough. I don't think I could do that. That sounds awful. Poor Varen. No wonder she's bad.
She's Black Aja. I'm calling it. Y'all, that's the show. We'll see you next week for chapters 6 to 7 to, I don't know. It's everywhere.
It is posted in the Discord, and you can feel free to come join us over on Discord for announcements, for Wheel of Time chats, all that fun stuff.
Baka Card says the golem can fit his whole body through the tightest of holes.
I love that for the golem and whoever the golem decides to fit inside of.
Bye, guys.